I have the bollocks.
Do you really want to go toe to toe with me on that?
You've completely, like, what are we doing here? Levy isn't going anywhere.
It's all down to timing, isn't it?
Yes, good evening. Welcome back to the Spurs 5. Apologies. I would say we were late just because of me, but then this lot had a whole conversation for 5 minutes about not a lot. Big up to each and every one. Welcome back to the Spurs 5. Tottenham Hotspur are sitting third, but we're going to talk about why some fans aren't happy, why some fans are, and what is going to happen for the rest of the season. Stel is here with his camera on. Johnny is back. Lubo is here. Sean Butler's here. I'm here. Gentlemen, how are we all?
Oh, good. I've only just got back from Everton. Oh, dear. Listen, I'll tell you what, it was a nightmare getting back, but listen, I wouldn't have missed it for the world, but it's just buzzing. There's nothing like a win, right? When you go away from home, there's nothing like a Spurs win, but it's so much better for some reason when you have it on the Saturday and it carries you through Saturday and Sunday rather than, very late on a Sunday. And by the time Monday comes, everyone's forgotten about it, And
the problem is, Johnny, that when you walk home, you don't get home till Monday night. So it's...
Yeah, exactly. I might as well have walked home, I tell you. I got the coach to nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So Johnny is back. Lubo got back in great time. Stel's camera is working this week, which is lovely. Welcome to your face, Stel. How are you? You good?
Yeah, all the scarring from the hair transplant's gone, so the camera's back on. It's all gonna fall out in about 3 weeks' time, and then I've got to go through 9 months of regrowth. So God knows what I'm going to look like next month. But listen, Spurs winning, we're third. Let's discuss. Good times.
Let's discuss indeed.
Get your money back, mate. Someone's just said.
We'll get your money back.
Get your money back.
Well. Anyway, guys, let's move on. So, it's been interesting since we last spoke. We covered the Monaco game. Disappointing game, but decent result. And then we've got 2 away games, Everton, followed by Newcastle. We've navigated one, 3-0 win. Still some aren't happy. Lubo, I'm going to start with you. Why are we not all waking up on a Monday morning, third in the league, the best defence, the second best defence in the country, the best away record in the country by 4 points, the second best team in the country at the scoring set pieces, the best team in the country at defending set pieces? Only Arsenal and Bournemouth have lost less games than us, with a joint top goal scorers in the league. Why are we still not a 100% happy fan base?
Don't know. I think some fans just need to be a bit happier, don't they? I know, Christmas is coming. The clocks have gone back. It's getting cold. People are a bit miserable. But hey, we're third in the table. What's there to be miserable about? For a shit show from last year, we've gone from 17th to 3rd. It's pretty good, isn't it? Not bad in 9 games. Let's just hope we keep it going. Listen, there's going to be tough games. We have played 6 teams from the bottom half, and the next 3 games will even that up. So we'll see where we are in a few weeks' time, and I think by the time we'll be it's halfway through the season. We'll be, is it Palace at the end of December? Palace or Brentford, just get the 2 mixed up, and we'll see where we are then. But it's pretty good so far, isn't it? Pretty good considering we're short in various positions. He's got the defence sorted. He's getting set plays sorted. Step at a time. You can't do everything in 4 months, and next week is 4 months. So we've got to be happy. People have got to stop, looking down. I mean, we're above Chelsea, Villa, Newcastle, United, City, Liverpool. It's not bad, is it?
Yeah. I mean, Johnny, let me. I'll go to Sean last. Sorry, Sean, purely because we spoke this morning, so I kind of know what I think your answer is going to be. Johnny, a lot of people are chucking around in the chat right now. It's because we're not playing the Tottenham way. Johnny, does this exist? What is it, and why have I not seen it for the majority of my 40 odd years I've been alive?
Oh yeah, they just play the Tottenham losing way. Let's play well but lose. Yeah, I'm all for that. Look, we've already got Thomas Frank has already got more points in 2025 than Ange managed from January through to May. We beat a Leeds team that has lost one game in the last 13 months, and that was against us. We just beaten Everton, the first team to beat Everton at their new stadium, a record that will never be beaten. We have improved in the matrices that Thomas Frank set out at the beginning. We concede far too many goals. We conceded last season 66 league goals. For context, Arsenal have conceded 3 in the first 9 games. I know it's exceptional because the Premier League record is 15 for a season under Jose Mourinho, but even by any metrics, it was mad. And he set out to change that metric and to make us defensively more solid, because if you don't concede a goal, then you can't lose a game. You can draw a game, but you can't lose a game. Also, we all know that we were regularly outdone on set pieces, and they spoke about it incessantly on Sky, on TNT, every week. Spurs have this terrible record of TNT. Why is he doing something about it? And we know that Thomas Frank, even though he didn't bring Andrews, his set piece coach, we knew it was something that was very important to him. And what did we do yesterday? Yesterday, we went to a club that hadn't conceded 1 goal from a set piece, and we scored 2 against them from set pieces. So we can see our set pieces, both defensively and offensively, have improved. We can see defensively we've improved. Is it perfect defensively? Absolutely not. We saw that against Monaco. But it's about layers. It's about building blocks. It's about starting from a baseline and trying to improve it. We all know that the final third, phase 3 of our team is nowhere near the required level. Even though we did better than our performance yesterday as far as goals are concerned, we took our chances. There's a lot of improvement. We know the middle of the park offensively isn't great. We don't have a massive creative influence at the moment. Simmons not firing. So we can see all the things that are going right and are improving, and we can see clearly all the things that are wrong. Yet it seems to be that most of the fan base seem to only want to focus on what's not right.
It's not most of the fan base, really.
Pardon?
It's not most of the fan base.
Well, a large proportion of the fan base. There are quite a lot of them out there.
Surprisingly high amount.
Surprisingly high for a team, as you said, that finished 17th, lost 22 games, and you know we sit where we are now. But we know that they're just sort of hiding behind the couch like a Halloween ghoul, waiting to pop out at any moment should we have a defeat against Newcastle. I mean, come on, we are absolutely 100% expected to go to Newcastle and smash them, right? 100%, right? And anything but a defeat, anything but a victory will mean that these guys will pop out from behind the couch. I think you just got to, guys, give Thomas Frank time and enjoy the ride. We all know what's right and we all know what's wrong, but it's improving, and that's all you need to ask for. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it and embrace it. For God's sake, man. I mean, look, you could be Liverpool. 5 defeats in 6. You could be Pep Guardiola. He's lost one player, Rodri, and it's all falling apart. He ain't working properly without one. Even on Sky yesterday, they said this is a Tottenham team with no Solanke, no Kulu, no Maddison, no Kuti, right? No Udogie. right? Most of which would be in the team to start, and yet we're managing to get results. So, guys, chill out, relax, enjoy the ride.
And if it wasn't for Haaland, Mickey would be a contender for the Golden Boot, wouldn't he, this year? All looking good.
Yeah, I mean, Stel, what's going on? You're someone who likes to err on the side of hating the manager for no reason. So what do you make of what's going on? I'm just kidding.
I'm glad you said I'm just kidding, because my comeback would have been epic. I'll park that in case you choose to revisit.
Sure.
Your question is, why are fans moaning, right? I don't think a lot of fans are moaning. I think it's a small minority, but everyone's jumping on that minority and making it sound like it's the majority. It really isn't. There might be a couple of loud people on X. There might be a couple of whingers on YouTube, but they're the minority. Most fans are very.
I don't agree. Still, it's a minority. My chat all day, every day is just full of it.
Yeah, but you're someone that people are going to go in and wind up, and you're going to attract them, Sava. As did Tottenham away. Tottenham away attracted them too. I think most fans are happy, and they're glad that we are where we are in the league. Why I think there are moans is three things. Number one, the football's not great to watch. So for a lot of fans, and I used to argue this, that before Frank, I used to say on my channel that fans want to be entertained before we win trophies. And I would always argue I'd take 1-0 every week if it meant at the end of the year we win the league. I'd take that. For a lot of fans, they can't accept that. They want to be entertained. So that's one of the moans. Because at the moment, the football's not entertaining. The second reason people are moaning is because we're a completely different team away from home. Away from home, we've beaten a team, like Johnny said, that didn't concede from a set piece and hadn't been beaten at home. We beat them 3-0. We went away to Brighton, a team that everyone struggles against. We got a 2-2 draw. Really, we should have beaten them. We went away to Leeds. What was it? They hadn't lost in 17 home games or something. We beat 11, them. 11. We beat them. And we went and put in the best performance of the season against Man City. That was a phenomenal performance by Spurs. So away from home, we're brilliant. At home, it's a shit show. And that's where the moans come from. And the final thing, I think, as well is, in Europe, especially away from home, against teams that aren't really known to be the best teams, we just look shambolic. So I think the moans come from fans that just can't get their heads around, why is it 1 minute away from home, these players look good and they can play as a team and the tactics are right and the manager's nailing it and we're doing really well, yet away from home in Europe and at home, we just look really, really average or shit. And I think that's where the moans come from. But at the end of the day, it depends what kind of fan you are. Do you want results or is it about the performances? For me, I've always been more results driven, but I get why some fans are, they're struggling because the performances aren't great, guys, if we're honest about it, but it depends what type of fan you are. And that's what I think. That's why I think there's some moans and groans. And if we then go and play Chelsea on the weekend and we lose and we play shit, those moaners are going to say, there you go. That's the problem.
That's option 4, though, still. I think that there's one massive part that you're missing from the puzzle. I agree with everything you just said, by the way. But I think number 4 is that there's a hell of a lot of point scoring going on in the fan base. I think that people want to be right on every topic. There's embedded opinions, whether it was about Daniel Levy, whether it was about Ange Postecoglou, whether it's about Odebear, whether it's about Polinia, whether it's about Bentancur, whether it's about Thomas Frank, whether it's about whoever. It doesn't matter what the topic is. There are embedded opinions and people on both sides of that coin can't wait to say, I told you so. And they will grasp at any opportunity to be able to point the finger at the other person and say, you were wrong, I was right, because you were giving me a hard time when you thought you were wrong and you thought you were right and I was wrong. So now that have the opportunity to do it, I'm going to sort of launch back into you. And it stops being about football. It stops being about Tottenham. It becomes about point scoring and egos. And I think that's a major thing that's at play. I also, for what it's worth, though, I lean more towards the notion that like winning is. You're right. Like, you know, what's more important? Is it performance or is it results?
You like the journey. You want the.
I do, because I'm not the person who puts my hand on the trophy. It's not my trophy, right? Like I'm an irrelevant observer of someone else's success or failure, and so I don't consider myself to be a winner because my team wins a trophy. I don't consider myself to be a loser because my team loses. But other people attach themselves to the outcomes of their football team, and that's okay, by the way. Like, everyone's got their own reason for supporting their football club and how they want to support it. But I do think that there is a responsibility at home more so than away. So there's two things I'll say. First of all, like, this football that we're playing, it's only acceptable if we win. And putting all the context of the injuries and put all that stuff to one side, imagine you had a fully fit squad and Thomas Frank had time on his side and we weren't playing 2 games a week and all that stuff. If the style of football was still to persist in the way that we're going about it, where essentially Thomas Frank, I saw Pete, Grumpy Pete in my chat, did a great summary. He said Tottenham have essentially gone from Bonnie Blue to Mother Teresa in the last sort of 2 months, right? In terms of our like access to risk or whatever. And he's absolutely spot on. He's absolutely spot on. Now, I personally would just like to see a nice little 8 out of 10 promiscuous bird that you meet down the pub. Not a Bonnie Blue. I certainly don't want to marry a Mother Teresa either. I'd like to see somewhere in the middle, which is a little bit of fun, a little bit of entertainment, that carries some risk, because you can't do everything. You can't be tight as a duck's arse at the back and also go and score wonderful football with the squad that we have. Unless you have, you know, bags of money, bags of depth, bags of potential, bags of ambition, and obviously it all works at the same time, then you maybe can do a little bit of both. But you have to kind of pick a risk appetite. I don't mind doing it, even though I am someone that does want to be entertained. 100% I do want to be entertained to a degree. I will tolerate whatever system has to be done away from home in the Premier League, because I don't really care. I'm not going to those games. I'm not traveling 5 hours up and down the country, so I don't have as much of an investment in the experience when I'm watching it on the TV. But when I go to the stadium and I'm paying a lot of money for my ticket, I want to be entertained more than I am, and so I think that there's a responsibility from the football team itself to also to do more in that regard generally. That's all of that stuff is without the context of where we're at the moment. Just as a general take on football, I think you do have a responsibility to put on something that justifies the price ticket.
Can I add one thing to that? Can I add one thing to that, Johnny, before you go? I'll be really quick. This year, the last month, there's only 3 teams I've watched where I've actually said I enjoy them. Just to put it into context, I don't think it's just us. I think Bournemouth by far the best footballing team to watch in the league. For me, they've been brilliant. I love their football. Even when they beat us at home, I sat there watching them saying, I really like Bournemouth. The other team in recent weeks, I'm going to say it, I think Man United are playing a half-decent level of football. I enjoy it. And the other team that surprised me, and I'm enjoying, I do enjoy their football. Although it's not free-flowing, I enjoy it. And it's Sunderland. For me, it's Sunderland. The rest of the teams, they've either been up and down or boring, including Arsenal, by the way. Take away Athletic. Arsenal are boring.
So there's the point still, right? You know, Arsenal are 5 points clear, right? But I don't hear that Arsenal fans, we all know what type of football it is. You know, I call them the 21st century Stoke City, right? But at the end of the day, if Arsenal go on to win the trophy, they will be very happy. I'd rather be that than Arnie Slut, who's more open than Bonnie Blue. I mean, there's so many holes in that defence. They're all over the place, and you know, when we've come from where we were before, I think a lot of the problem is the moaning. You talk about the moaning. I feel like there's a lot more moaners and moaning with the home fan base, right? When I go to an away game, there's this sort of positive mindset, right? Of, you know, we're going to the game, we're going to win, blah, blah, blah. It's the hardcore. When I sit down and I go to the game, I hear some of the people beforehand, no, I don't fancy us today. You know, I hope it's not more of that shit. There's this sort of a mindset. It's not, I don't feel like I'm ever fired up anymore in the stadium. I don't feel like it was back in the old stadium. Maybe that's just me old reminiscing about times gone by. I don't know, but I think
there's lots of issues, Johnny, with that. Like the South Stand, Daniel Levy putting the club in the South Stand where you've got corporate people mixed in amongst the hardcore. That was a stupid thing.
It was a mistake. I think, you know, I've mentioned it to someone today, right, at the club, that, you know, I just think that it is so wrong. Yes, it's up to the players to perform, but I can tell you yesterday, the fans, the players thrive off of what we were doing. There was a moment in the game yesterday where I think we were 2-0 up, and the ball's come over to our side, and Spurs fans were singing "Can't Smile Without You." Okay, Pedro Porro comes over to the side, and he's come over and he's going like this, and he starts joining in the singing. Right, he starts joining in the singing and bouncing the ball. Special moment, right? Yeah. The players were feeding off of the fans. The flip opposite is what we've got at our stadium right now. There is nothing to feed off. And as soon as something bad goes wrong, you can feel the air being sucked out of our stadium and the air being sucked out of some of the players. There's sort of a mindset. I don't know what happens, but we've got to arrest it. It's up to the players to perform 100%, but I feel it's up to the fans also to play their part.
But I think the tactics, Johnny, the tactics that are employed away from home are palatable because it's away from home, and you know there's no such thing as an easy game in the Premier League. And you go away from home to a place like Leeds, and you put in the performance we did, and the structure of the game was set up, and I'll tolerate that. Even someone who wants to be entertained when I watch football, I don't mind Tottenham doing what we did yesterday every time we go away from home. I've got no problem. But at home, I think that there is a responsibility to play a little bit more expansive than we do. I think we are too defensive minded, and I get it. I know that there is a context. I know that he is new in the job. I know that he doesn't have any time to train relative to teams with one game a week. I know that we've got a lot of injuries, so I'm baking all that in, and I'm not in any rush. I'm playing devil's advocate for the people that are in the fan base that want a representation of their opinion on this, on this panel, which might not exist naturally. I'll play that role for them as devil's advocate. I think that what they want is to see a style that at least embraces the art of football more than the science of.
Sean, that will happen. Sean, that will happen as we get better players and certain players who are missing through injury.
But that's the hope. That's the hope.
Come back in.
But how many did we lose? I know you'll know this, Ian. Right? How many games did we lose at home last season?
10.
Right?
10 in the league out of 9. 10 out of 19. We won 4. I think
we won 4 home games last. We
lost. I remember seeing we lost 10. It was double figures. Right. I've never seen that before, and I've just got to say.
So how does that correlate then? This is what I'm asking Sean, Ian, or anybody, right?
Because we've only won 1 game at home this year, Johnny. That's the argument, isn't it? From those fans that are moaning, that's the argument.
Yeah, but you're saying it's about the football, right? Well, apparently we were playing wonderful attacking football, right? And yet we only won. We won 4 games.
That's the Bonnie Blue versus Mother Teresa argument, isn't it? Like what Pete said.
Is it?
Johnny, I think to come back to what I was saying about we'll be playing better football, and as my pal Jeff said to me today, it's about the results. We have seen.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Even Jeff, I know you're watching. We've watched some super teams through the years, and you know what? Until Poch, we never really came close. 85, I think we were 3rd. We had 7 home games out of 10, but we had to play him in about 25 days, which was ridiculous. Gary Stevens got injured. That was about the closest that I've seen before Pochettino to win the league. And even then, in 85, we were never at the top. Liverpool and Everton were the 2 teams that were always above us. So for me, it's about getting the result. I don't mind if we shithouse our way to a Premier League. No, I want to see us win the league. I've seen the entertaining teams. I've seen 87 fantastic football from David Pleats, 4-5-1.
Yeah, brilliant.
But let me ask you this though, right? On that point, so the Arsenal fans will tell you, those that are tolerant of their boring Arteta ball at the moment. This season or never, right? Man City are dropping points, Liverpool are dropping points. Yeah. Now is their time. They've got a 4-point lead at the top over Bournemouth and Tottenham and Sunderland before you get to the real competitors. So they have an obvious chance an obvious, like real strong chance to actually do it. In reality, if Tottenham aren't going to win the league, which I think we should all be honest enough to say, the chances of Tottenham winning the league this season are microscopic.
Yeah, we're not winning the league. We're not. Yeah.
On that basis, is sacrificing any level of positive football. Again, I'm just playing the devil's advocate argument here. Is it worth, like, if you're not going to win the league anyway, then playing abjectly boring football in order to finish third or fourth versus having some iota of entertainment where you might finish seventh or eighth? Is it a means to an end? Is it worth that risk, or is it worth that cost, I should say?
Yes, it is, because we're going in an upward trajectory, and we're going to get better players that are going to give us better football, more entertaining football, and you're going to see more. Like, there was that lovely ball into Mawani, lovely back flick, flicked it behind him sideways, set Simmons going yesterday. We're going to see more of that.
Okay, but until you say it, until people can say, as soon as we get better players, the football will look better, and it's fine. I'll go on board that argument.
Sure, it's all about players, isn't it? And ability of players.
It's also about the way that you set up, right? I did this video with Sava earlier, and you, Lubo, you both were on it. I showed the average heat maps, right, of the double pivot centre backs. I didn't actually get a chance to show you more than just yesterday's game, but if you actually look at the heat maps of the Wolves game, of the Villa game, of the Leeds game, and even the Burnley game was the outlier. But for the most part, as the season's gone on, the double pivot are playing like two defensive sixes rather than a traditional double pivot that's playing as a double eight. They're so deep, they're in line with the average positions of the centre backs. And so my argument would be, for the people that are frustrated with how it looks, I hope you're right that with better players and with more time under the belt on the training ground, that we'll start to see a little bit more expanse, a little bit more creativity, a little bit more flair, a little bit more enjoyable football. But until you see it, I think that you have to understand why the people that do prioritise good football will be frustrated.
But I think Frank's prioritised results, hasn't he? Ahead of aesthetics, pretty much.
For sure.
Sorry, go on, Sad.
Yeah, I would get this argument if we weren't at 9 games into a new manager's era in the Premier League. Like, everyone's talking as though he's had a year and a half, and this is what we're seeing. Listen. As I said, I called this in the summer. If you don't have those players, you are not playing that brand of football. I don't care who you are. I watch most Premier League's team now, most Premier League teams, and I don't see any of them that play this really good brand of possession, keep ball football, because they've not got those footballers in their team. You've got to look at where we've come from. I don't want to talk about the previous manager, but as a club, you look where we've been and the number of games we've lost in the last 2 years. Thomas Frank has told us, it's like no one wants to listen to him. He's told us the first thing I want to do is put a structure in place. He's telling everyone, but it's not good enough because of this age. Everyone wants everything now. He's told us, I want to put a structure in to make us hard to beat. I want to put a structure of togetherness. I want us to be hard to beat. I want us to defend well, and I want us to be a unit. He's doing
how long does that last for, though? How long does that phase A last for?
Longer than 3 months, because... I get it, but you've got to have the players to play. Like, I did this a show earlier. When I'm saying to people, they're like, "Oh, but playing Bentancur and Paulinho, cool. Who are you playing that's more attacking and gets on the ball in midfield?" And every option they give me isn't that type of footballer. So I'm like, cool. So what we realise then is this is a personnel problem, right? When you look at Brentford, how he started at Brentford, he didn't start well at Brentford. Right, he didn't start well at Brentford, and the fans were moaning. He took his time. Or Bromby, right? You're seeing a pattern with a guy. He goes in, he tries to make teams hard to beat, and then slowly but surely the transition gets better and the attacking play gets better. If you actually look at the goals Brentford have scored down the years, they were good in the transition and to watch, right? Not all the time. I think he realised that there are games where, hang on, I need to be defensive here because the other team have got superior footballers. Right now, I look at this team, and I've said this all year, right? I've said this all year. We don't have a midfielder you can replace a Bentancur or a Paulinho with that dictates a game, that gets on the ball, that likes to pass forward, that's got loads of skill. We don't have that type of footballer at Tottenham Hotspur.
Bentancur could be that.
Yeah, but Bentancur isn't though. He's never really been that guy. Look at if you actually look at all of his games in his career and his data, it will all show you he's not really that guy. He is a hard-working midfielder who wins it, gives it sideways, 5 yards there, 10 yards there. If we
that's
don't,
not the case. No, that's the new version of Bentancur. Before his injury, that was.
Okay, listen, I watched this guy at Juventus. This is exactly what he did at Juventus. He wins it. He gives. He's not this. Either way, we don't have anybody else in the squad in midfield that plays that way, right? We've got no real left winger in the club. Xavi Simons hasn't. I'm sure we'll talk about him later. Hasn't hit the ground running, and so far we've had about 4 or 5 different players play at left wing or up front. So there's no real stability in that forward line. So if the ball just keeps coming back and keeps coming back and keeps coming back, I get why Thomas Frank is putting Bentancur and Paulinho in there, because we have a lot of defensive work to do. And when part of the reason, Sav, why it keeps coming back is because there's a bit of an isolation of the front four with the tactics as they're set up. I disagree. I think it's the ability of the front four to be able to hold the ball up.
The midfield two do not go past the halfway line unless it's for a set piece.
Sure, but that's
hang on a second. Yeah, I know, but
nothing to do with a front four.
An assist, Bentancur, in the last 2 Premier League games.
Sorry,
he's got a goal and an assist in the last 2 Premier League games.
Set pieces, though, right?
But hang on. But my point is, you got 4 players up top, right? Most clubs have 4 players up top.
No, but okay.
Let me finish. Right, the ball will naturally bounce back if your centre forwards can't hold the ball up. The ball will naturally bounce back if your number 10 is not playing well and is not holding onto the ball the way, say, an Eriksen would have in his prime. The ball will naturally bounce back if you've got wingers that keep giving the ball away because they're not good enough at holding onto it. By the way, Jack Grealish, prime example yesterday, gets the ball, holds onto it, takes 2-3 players out the game, keeps it high up possession for Everton. We don't have that other than Kudus. So I get what we're doing, right? I understand what he's doing at first. But can we give the manager more than 3 months before we're going to talk about the style of play, wanting to be entertained? Because the people that are asking for that have just watched us be absolutely shocking for 2 years. No, hang on. I'll go back further than that. We've been shocking realistically as a football club since the Poch days. A bit of the Conte era was very good to watch in patches. Other than that, we've not been good to watch. And these fans are immediately 13 games into a new manager's era, right? Where's my good football? So, come on, can we a bit of time, a bit of patience?
I think. Listen, I genuinely agree, or generally agree with you guys. Like, I'm more than patient with this one. I've got no problem with it. I'm sort of parroting the people that I see on Twitter that are referencing their arguments, just so that there is a voice for that on this show.
Speaking for the keyboard warriors of Britain.
No, I'm putting the argument together. Like, if you look, I think there's a middle ground between I want to go from the Bonnie Blue to the Mother Teresa, and then I want somewhere where we're playing great, attractive football that's neither, right? I want more balance. There's that side of it, which is fine. But there's the other people that are just saying that part of the reason why we are playing the way we are is by design. And as I said to you guys earlier, and I think the stats will back this up. I know they do because I've looked into it. Like, you look at someone like a Mohamed Kudus, when he takes a man on, part of the reason why he stands still, has a ball at his feet, and then waits for the fullback to make a move so he takes them on, he's almost hoping for the corner, because he knows that when he doesn't get that deflection for a corner and he whips it and it actually makes its way into the box, there's nobody there. And if you reverse engineer why there's nobody there, it's because there is by design that the double pivot of the two men in midfield that are traditional double pivots, one of them at least, or sometimes both of them, are allowed to progress a little bit further up, and usually the more offensive of the two joins the late runner into the box. That isn't happening in this system. And so you do have that isolation of the front four. Yes, if you're going to play it that way, you can look at the argument of, I hear you about, Richarlison's got a trampoline foot. I hear you that Odebear isn't capable of doing the same things that Kudus is. I would also make the argument that a lot of pressure's on Xavi Simons, but I think Xavi Simons looks around and doesn't have anybody. He doesn't have a support act from the midfield that's supposed to be there to help him.
Didn't he hit one that just whistled past the post? A beautiful shot.
Bentancur got forward loads yesterday in
wasn't it?
Bentancur just hit one, he absolutely smashed
and
one.
in the first 5 minutes, he drove into their box. I feel like everyone's just jumping on this Bentancur Paulinho thing as a real easy go-to. But I keep asking a question. No one can actually give me an answer with any data. Cool. You take out Paulinho, Bentancur, right? Cool. Which midfielder are you putting in there that changes this? That what everyone wants to see?
I don't think you need to change Bentancur and Paulinho, because yesterday what I saw was what I've been asking for, which is just change the passage of play, change the way we were set up. And I don't know about you guys, but what I saw yesterday was when we were in the offensive phase, no matter where the offense started, at the back midfield, it looked to me like we went into a 3-2-4-1. It looked like Simmons and Kudus went into the middle. Spence was the left winger. Johnson was the right. And Moani was up front. So it looked to me that we can be more attacking by keeping Bentancur and Paulinho in the team. We don't need to drop one. Just change the way we were set up. And it looked to me like that. Because in the first 5 minutes, I was saying to myself, and I put it in our WhatsApp group, can someone tell me where Kudus and Johnson are playing? Because they're both on the same side. And then I noticed, as we got up the pitch, Kudus went into the middle with Simmons. And it was Spence Johnson on the right. So we actually played in the attack a 3-2-4-1. So you don't need to drop one. So to answer your question, you don't need to drop one. Just change the way we approach.
That's all I've been hearing from everybody in any. Let's be fair, even in our WhatsApp group, I've been hearing that from certain people for weeks. That's the problem. You've got to play someone else. But what I would say is, take a game like yesterday. Look how much work Paulinho and Bentancur did. Right, look at how much work they did against Villa. I'm not talking about just the ground duels, the tackling. How good are both of those in the air? You take one of these out or change that, I think we become under a lot more pressure. And until we buy that ball behind number 8, I think we're going to be that way. I genuinely do.
I agree, but for those people, I agree with Stel. Like for those people that are saying we could be doing something different, there could be more support from the midfield. It's by design. It's by we are clearly approaching the forward when the ball gets put up in transition. The approach, at least to me, this is just my opinion, but the approach is to win a set piece or to get a throw in close to the goal, and then Super Kev goes over at least while Romero's out and he's doing it. Maybe it's also a fact that with Romero out, there's even more of a need to do that sort of thing because we don't have his ball playing, his passing capabilities from the back, and he's a better passer of the ball than basically all of our midfield put together, in my opinion. But he's just limited by his approach or how far he can to move up the pitch. But I think that we just have to shake hands with the idea that this is Thomas Frank's design and it's okay. But to those people who aren't happy, who want to see more, that's the reason why they're getting a little bit frustrated, is because there are other things that we could be doing, even within the same selection of the team, by tweaking the formation, tweaking the individual player roles, or tweaking the kind of approach to the game. He doesn't have to do it, and I support the fact that he's doing it the way he's doing it away from home. I think that at home there needs to be more. I agree with Johnny that the fan base need to be doing more to kind of create an atmosphere that encourages, good outcomes. But there also that sort of stuff starts on the pitch, right? The fans can't be the catalyst. The fans need to react to the catalyst, which is the player.
It's balance, yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with a lot of that, Sean. It's just listen. I've never changed my opinion on this. And I haven't since day one. I don't think we've got the players to play the way that a lot of people want to see. I genuinely don't.
Do you think this is the only way we can play football right now?
I'm not saying the only way. I'm saying at the moment, he's told us, I want the structure first. Hard to beat, build the foundations. I can't understand how so many people don't build the foundation, which he's done. And look at all of our metrics are compared to last season are absolutely superb. But that's not enough. These people want him to have built the foundation, be bloody good at the back, bloody good away, really good at home. Essentially, these people want us to be above Arsenal, winning every single game. And it's
that's exactly right.
I completely hear you on that. Completely hear you on that. But I think that those people have a right to, at the same time, to say, at what point do I get to see a little bit better in the home performances?
Sure, but we're 9 games in. It's 9 games in. We didn't see this.
We're really good on the road, though. So for fans, it's like, why are we so good on the road? Like we are genuinely, statistically, the best team Sava, we are number 1 in the league away from home. We are 17th at home. It's literally chalk and cheese. And
Sure.
I can't explain it, by the way. I don't know why that's happening. I don't know. But
Still, I get why it's happening. I think at home we're expected to be more expansive, more open, more playing, more of the possession. Again, I look around this squad, especially at our group of centre midfielders. I don't know who's doing that for us.
But Sava, hold on, no. Forget the expansive play at home. From a performance perspective, we look shit. Yeah, it's the same team, same players that can go and put in a brilliant performance. You look at the performance. Except for Villa, we've looked pretty average at home, like really average, in my opinion. Villa, yes, I agree.
We're good against Burnley.
So
Burnley.
We're talking about 2 home games, is what we're talking about.
That's 50% of the home games, isn't it? Even against Villarreal, when we won, we didn't look great.
We look bang average at Doncaster as well.
He's just joined. I don't know what we're doing. Like he's just joined.
No, Savvy, you're missing my point. I agree with you. I agree. He's just joined. I agree. But what I'm saying to you is because we're discussing why some fans moan. Yeah, we can have the same players, the same system, the same tactic away from home, and we look really, really good. Yet the same players, same tactic, same system at home, it never looks as good. That's what I'm saying to you. And you'd think at home we'd actually be a bit better because we've got all the fans there. It's our pitch. So,
no, it's not. It's not. We set up, still, the way we set up, you've got to remember that the home team comes onto us. They leave gaps behind. The away team, when we're at the lane, they sit back. There are no gaps behind. We've got to... What Frank has got to do to improve the home results.
Bournemouth were all over us. What are you talking about?
Sorry?
Bournemouth were all over us. They came onto us for 90 minutes.
Right.
Second place, Bournemouth, yeah.
The point is the way they played is not where they're in the league, is where they played.
But still, Frank will be looking at 4 points from 4.
Of course not, Sav. We're talking about performance, aren't we? Not results-wise, we're good. We're talking about performance.
Are we talking about performance? Because
that's what fans are moaning about. They're not moaning about the results.
Moaning about, the fans are moaning about the
results.
Do you know what, though, right? You know the type of football people want to see? I said this on a show last night. If you look at, I don't know if you guys agree with me on this, I think you probably will. The 2 best managers in the last 20, 25 years that have played good football for us have been Harry Redknapp and Pochettino. In terms of that football that people want to see. I'm not talking about people that like counter-attack. I'm talking about people that want possession football, flying wingers, loads of attack. Yeah. When I look, is that fair, right, guys? If I look at Redknapp's team and Poch's team, right?
Yeah, fair.
If you look at what Redknapp and Poch had, right, when their teams were flying, because they didn't inherit teams that played that way. Neither of them did, right? Harry Redknapp, straight away, had, let me put Luka Modric into the middle, got Rafa van der Vaart, got someone like Tommy Huddleston alongside him as well, who can pass and control and dictate, right? Flying wingers like Lennon and Bale, right? You can play that way. Right, Pochettino had Dembele, excellent on the ball. Right, Eriksen, Kane, these players that could hold the ball up, pass, move. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm just not looking at it and going, I don't think we have the team that can open up and be more expansive without being wide open like we were last season. And my worry is if we do open up, and we start letting in goals again, they already done it this season. When we started letting in loads of shots, it's like Ange again. That's my worry. I'm just putting that. That's where I am with it.
Well, you got the choice. You got away from home, we counter-attack. We move very quickly. I mean, you look at the third goal yesterday, was terrific. We broke, lovely ball in from Porro. We got people in the box. Sarr came in late, 3-0.
Sarr coming in late though, Lubo. Sarr coming in late. That doesn't happen from open play in the first 75 minutes of that game.
Yeah. But when we play at home, most teams will sit back. So the key for us to improve the results, and Frank will be looking at those results, and him and his team will not be happy with 4 points out of 12. Regardless of how well we're doing away, they will look at the home results because they're perfectionists and they will want better results. And for me, the key is to unlock these low blocks by getting the ball forward quicker, by moving it forward quicker. And that for me, once we start doing that, then we will start to get better results because we'll create more chances. We won't allow the defences to set up, get their 10 men behind the ball and get organised. And then we have a problem because
that requires
Kudus,
to move forward, mate.
So apart from Kudus, we haven't got Simmons isn't doing his stuff at the moment. That will be a big help when he does because he'll be able to get in. He'll beat players in a small space, and he will create around the area. But at the moment, he's not doing that. So we've only got Kudus, and we are not, because we're allowing defences at the lane to set up because we're so slow building up. We're not breaking them down.
We weren't slow against Villa, Lubo. How many times in that first half against Aston Villa did Spurs get the ball forward? This is why I feel like we're rewriting history. We got the ball forward so many times into Odegaard, into Tell.
That was our best performance of the season, and we're unlucky to lose. But the Burnley forget, Villarreal was poor, Bournemouth was poor, Wolves was poor,
Can I just say though,
was poor.
Yeah,
Sure.
My point was, Sava,
Poor.
I'm watching Arsenal, right? Many of their games, right? And they are struggling, right? They are struggling at home. They're playing against the low block, okay? And Arne Slot was complaining that he's struggling at the moment. Every team that comes to play Liverpool play the low block and the long ball. Even Manchester United, he said that played 75 long balls in 90 minutes during that game. And he said that he's trying to counter this new wave of football that's being played. Low block, long balls, right? And Arsenal, let's be serious here. Arsenal have an abundance of attacking talent, whether it's Saka, Noni, Eze, all through the team.
Gyökeres, Martinelli.
They Martinelli. And yet they are struggling
Trossard.
to form a fluid football game, right? They are struggling. And that's not because they don't have the players. So should we be saying, look, Arteta, he needs to change it up? They're winning 1-0.
Johnny, that's by design, though. They've been like that for the last 2-3. If you remember the first...
Hang on a second. I don't believe it's by design. I don't believe you buy all these creative attacking players and play to grind out a 1-0 at Fulham, grind out a 1-0 against...
They're not a free-flowing team. They haven't been for 3-4 years. Like I remember the first season of Arteta was a shit show. The second year was a bit more of a shit show. And then they went for this 2-year period where actually they were a really exciting football team and probably should have won the league. And then the last 2 years, they've become this pragmatic team with the occasional big result, like a 4-0 against Atleti.
And look at the results.
So like when I speak to my Arsenal friends, I've got, you live in North London, your mates are either Spurs or Arsenal. My Arsenal friends, what they say to me is that they think they're going to win the league this year. They're really confident, especially with the drop-off of the other teams like you mentioned earlier. But the football is boring. They acknowledge that their football's shit. But you're right. If they win the league, they won't care. But I think with Spurs fans, we know we're not winning the league. So they've kind of got a get out of jail card for the shit. They know they're not winning the league.
Only if they win the league. And it's like Tottenham, even
win the league, yes.
We won yesterday. What percentage, just a random number, would you say of the Tottenham fans that are online that we know about, that we see or whatever, that we're engaged with, were sort of unsatisfied despite winning 3-0 away from home? What, 15%?
People moaning about it. Why wasn't Papa? Do you know how many people said on my timeline? You could see Papa Sarr's unhappy. He's obviously not getting a game. Frank should have played him. Why wasn't he?
They're winding you up, Johnny, mate. They're winding you up.
Hey, they're not winding me up, mate. They're all over the fucking net.
So if it's 20% of people that are dissatisfied with the football, how much higher would that number be if we were doing that football and we weren't winning away from home?
I think there's a large proportion, Sean, of people that are like this, come what may. Unfortunately,
I hear you. I agree.
And it's contagious. You can hear them moaning and groaning.
I hear you. There's people that always want to moan. There's a hell of a lot of point scoring. There's factions within the fan base that are still not happy that Ange Postecoglou got sacked. Yeah. Well, I get all that, right? But let's say that all of that is encompassed in the 10%, 15%. Then there's the 15% that are reasonable but just want to see a different style of football, that aren't satisfied because it's not the Tottenham way or whatever. it's only satisfactory. It's only acceptable to wherever the 70% of people are, whatever that number is, that are currently happy and that aren't moaning. They will moan if we do this sort of football and it doesn't succeed. And in Arsenal's case, to Stell's point, they will tolerate it this season because it gives them the best chance of winning the league. And if it doesn't, they'll be like if they go through a run of form.
They'll all be Arteta out, Sean. They'll all say Arteta out.
They spent £1 billion, Arsenal. Sorry, go on, Sam.
So these fans that were saying just want to see us play better football because we're not winning a league, which I think is a crazy argument. If you're not winning the league, it means you just open up and do whatever. I think is absolutely mental. But that's my opinion.
Well, that's an extrapolation, though, isn't it? That's not what they're saying.
Well, some are, right? So my point is, if we open up more and start losing more games, but we're better to watch, are we really saying these same fans that are moaning that we're third in the league are going to go, do you know what? We've lost 5 in a row, but 4 we're playing better football.
Of course not.
I don't believe it.
But what happens if we?
It's when we don't win, Sava. It's when we don't win. They're saying why don't we open up? So when you can see we're playing a game of football and we're completely, I know, but I'm right, Sava. You're not arguing with me. I'm telling you what I believe they think. Right? When we don't play well, when you can see we're completely overrun. Yeah, but when you can see we're completely overrun and we're not playing well and it's really, really ugly. I think fans feel like because we're pragmatic, we're allowing this to happen. And maybe if we were a bit more on the front foot, we could ask more questions of them and we could turn the tide of the game. I think that's where the moan is. Not to open up every single game, not to just when it's not working.
Yeah. I understand. I'll bring this back again. Who you got to be on the front foot and keep the ball in the other team's half and play a high press? Who you got?
I'll take it still. I'll take it a step further. All of us want to see, and let me sort of make the analogy now with entertaining football against pragmatic football. Let me talk about cup finals with Spurs. We all want to see a Ricky Villa type cup final replay where the football was fantastic. Hoddle was putting balls on a plate, Crook's second goal, Villa's third. I mean, it was amazing. City was scoring superb goals. The football was great. I remember going to Wembley in '87 with that David Pleat team, that 4-5-1 that played fantastic football. Hoddle, Waddle, Clive Allen scored 49 goals that year. We walked out of Wembley. We lost to Coventry. This was the team. We were sick. And then compare that to Bilbao, where we were absolute toilets. And we came away and we had the most fantastic night, and we came away with a trophy. It is about results, okay? It's about results. Does everybody?
I don't disagree with you, Lubo. I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
You do.
The point of elite sports is for the team to win.
Absolutely.
But you have to understand that there are people that don't feel the way that a lot of other people do. But some people go, you know what? I've had a hard week at work. I'm stressed out. I'm losing. My marriage is on the fucking brink. My kids are driving me up the wall. I want to watch Tottenham and just dial out for 90 minutes. And I want to enjoy something where I don't have the responsibility and I don't have to control the outcomes. But I want to just divorce myself from anything else. And I want to enjoy what I'm watching. And to those people, pragmatic football is only acceptable if you win. But to some, it's still unacceptable even when you win. To those people, and by the way, there's some sort of assumption here that if we were to play more attractive football, that we would automatically lose 5 games in a row. To those people, that's not necessarily true by any stretch of the imagination. Just because under Ange Postecoglou we played expansive football and we got our asses handed to us for the most part last season, it doesn't mean that that's the case if you just play a little bit somewhere in between the Bonnie Blue and the Mother Teresa.
Yeah,
when you come home,
I'll ask again with who. I just don't think we've got those. I don't think we've got those.
We don't. We're getting results. Sava's right.
Are we making out like our other players in the squad are just absolutely fucking like useless?
No. See, there's the extreme. No one's saying they're useless. It's about the profile of footballer.
Okay, so what sort of style of football does Pape Sarr and Lucas Bergvall fit then, Sava?
if you try and play,
missing, injured.
If you want to play a possession-based style of football where you dominate or where you're having more of the attack and you've got sustained attacks, somebody normally dictates that. Somebody normally in a team will dictate that. Somebody will normally be holding the ball up to facilitate that. You've normally got players you can give the ball to and going, that guy's going to create. I look at Tottenham right now, not one of our midfielders is that guy. Not one of them. I've said this in the summer, not one of them is that guy.
So if you're saying that Bergwijn isn't used to, but you're saying that what we don't have, I'm asking you, if you're not saying that these players are useless, I'm like, what sort of profile is Lucas Bergwijn and Pape Sarr then?
Lucas Bergwijn is a sub-profile for me. Lucas Bergwijn is a guy that I think you bring on when you want to close a game out. He's box to box. He closes down. He presses well. Lucas Bergwijn is not the guy I'm putting in a team if I want to keep possession and I want to start off attacks. That's not his game. That's not Pape Sarr's game. We've got too many that are the same profile. Too many that are the same profile. And this is the problem with when you have, and this is where I agree with Lubo, when you buy badly year after year after year and you don't buy different profiles of footballers and you buy really, really poorly, right? This is what you get. This is what you get. I did this analysis on every one of our midfielders. We haven't got one passing midfielder at the football club. Not one whose natural game throughout their career is passing. I mean, putting your foot on it and really, really dictating. We've got players that are on the turnover. No. I mean, central midfielders. I'm talking about central midfielders, not talking about Romero's passing every now and then. I'm talking about dictating games of football. When you look at the best teams, they've all name me the best teams in the Premier League, and we'll pluck out who they've got in their midfield that controls games. We don't have that. We've got combative midfield. Moment,
that's what I was just trying to say to you, Sava, before. You know, take Rodri out of Man City, and they have no team. You look at Arsenal right now; they spent like nearly £1 billion over whatever year. They've spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds buying this exciting, creative, mobile Martinelli. Saka, like the whole team is it's on paper. The depth is ridiculous. Great defense, great midfield, great attack, great everything. Yeah. And yet they're fucking boring. Now, what I'm saying is, what should we as fan base, we're looking at that, we're winning, right? And we're going, it's boring. And you've got Arsenal who spent all this money,
Johnny,
and they're still creating this boring football.
Yeah, but they're favourites to win the league, though, Johnny. So the fans will tolerate it.
Yes, because
fans will tolerate it. What does Zubimendi and Rice do, Johnny, for Arsenal? What does Zubimendi and Rice do for Arsenal?
Well, they're the holding cogs, aren't they?
But they are. Get the ball into Zubimendi and Rice. They're both fantastic passers of the ball. They dictate. They're always in space. They can drive forward
behind Rodri for me. In the middle of the park.
Even Man City, when they don't have Rodri, have Nico Gonzalez that can do it to a lesser degree. Yesterday, they didn't have anybody, lost the midfield duel.
Correct.
We don't have a single mid. And I know people won't listen to this, right? People in the chat, I'm not saying Sarr is a bad footballer or Bergwijn is going to be a bad footballer. The point I'm making is if you want to control games of football, get footballers in the midfield that control games of football. This is not rocket science. Yeah, Liverpool last year, Gravenberch and McAllister was superb at it, controlling the midfield. Chelsea in the last 2 years.
I agree with you on that.
They control games of football. We have two battlers in our midfield and all the others are runners. That's the problem. We need one.
We haven't had one since Dembele, in fairness, and to everybody that wants this free-flowing football at the moment, the team that everybody probably at the moment aspires to, in terms of free-flowing football, and if we think back to the Champions League final last year, is PSG. Now, when you look at Dembele in the middle, with either side, he's got Doué and Kvaratskhelia. Compare our strikers now. Yeah. Compare us to them, and we all want that type of football.
Are we saying Sunderland have got a better squad than Spurs because they play half decent football?
You know what? brilliant point. I was going to bring that up. Sunderland have brought in a lot of good players. They've got an unbelievable player in Granit Xhaka that's doing the sort of the Lord's work in the midfield. They brought some really good players in Chemsteen, Talby, I think his name is, the right winger from Bruges.
Great manager,
but they are playing better football. But they don't have better. They might have a different profile, but they are playing better football at the moment than Tottenham at home, at least. And I think that is, again, I don't feel the way that I'm speaking tonight. I'm representing the argument for the purposes of having that voice heard and for the purposes of the debate. I'm tolerant of what we're doing.
It's a good thing to do. Can I just tell you one thing, though? I'll tell you, and this will be for every single person here, right? What I know, when I walked out of the grounds in the league games 22 times last year, I felt sick as a fucking parrot. I was sick to death of losing, walking out that stadium. And like people say to me, oh, why can't you fucking do a nice video, a happy video? Every time I see you coming out the ground, you're miserable as sin. Yes, because I was sick of it. And now I'll tell you, the feeling of walking out of a stadium, winning a game is immeasurable, right? I've almost forgotten what it felt like, right? We felt it all right in Bilbao, but even looking out of the Leeds game, the Man City game, and the game against Everton, the buzz, the feeling, I didn't care how we won.
West Ham.
Just the feeling of winning the game, the buzz of winning as a fan coming out the stadium or those sat at home is irreplaceable. And, this to come back and see people bemoaning the type of victory when we've gone through what we went through last year, 22 defeats.
Johnny, do you think... Johnny, can I ask you a question?
I must finish off just by saying that one song at the end of the match when we've won the match, you've seen the Tottenham, now bleep off home, is just brilliant. Like you get 3,000 singing that. It's fantastic. It's a great feeling. You've won the game.
Johnny, do you think, right, because you go to the away games with Lubo a lot and the home games, do you feel maybe, I'm just trying to think from a different angle, do you think the fans that moan after a 3-0 win, because when you win 3-0, I don't know how you can fucking moan, but if you moan after a 3-0 win, do you think it's a frustration that's triggered because they're not seeing it at home? And it's like, well, you bastards, you do that on the road. Why can't you do it when I go to my home game? Do you think maybe it's that coming out?
Do you think I get any less pissed off coming out of the home
game?
And
I'm asking you what they think, not how you feel.
Yes, probably. Of course they do, because...
I can't stand going to watch Tottenham right now, Johnny.
Yeah, no, I get it, Sean. We've had the conversation, right? We've had it. I get it. I get it. But it's no different to last season. Last season, we rested all our players in Europe so we could play Ipswich and Leicester and lost to both of them. To the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, but we're good away though, isn't it? This year's different because we're actually last year we were bad away and home. This year we're good away.
Just consider here for a second.
We're the best team in the country away from home, number one.
The game has changed though. The game of football in the Premier League has violently changed in the last 18 months towards set piece domination. Like nobody was talking about long throws 12 months ago. Now everyone's got a set piece team. I was saying this earlier with you, Johnny, on the channel that shan't be named, about the fact that the long throw-in rule is insane. It's insane that you get 8 seconds to take a goal kick, but you can take a minute and a half if you want to go and find a towel. It's absolute. It's ridiculous how much it's slowing down the game. And again, Saba and Lubo, we were talking about this morning as well. Like the teams that are doing well are the teams that have gone out in the last 2.5 years, and built a squad of absolute monsters. You look at the teams that like Manchester City are struggling because they've built a team. Yes, they've got a couple of big lads like Haaland and John Stones and those sorts of guys in there, but they've got a hell of a lot of 5'8", 5'9" technical absolute monsters, technical beasts or whatever. But against set pieces, they're going to struggle because other teams have built these like 6'3", 6'4" midfielders. And you look at Brentford's midfield, you look at Sunderland, what they've gone and built. Tottenham are starting to do it as well. The game has become boring, and it's not just a Tottenham thing. I think it's becoming a football thing in general, that the whole game is pivoting towards this like special teams play like in NFL. And it's reality.
There was conversation on TalkSport this morning, I think it was on the Jim White show, where they were saying that football has gone back to the 80s.
Yeah. I didn't hear that, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad they're saying they're talking from the same hymn sheet, because it's becoming a situation where if you do just set up and you become incredibly difficult to break down, and then you with the I genuinely believe that if I said this earlier to you guys, I think a very smart tactician like Eddie Howe will run the tape on Tottenham and will say, if Mohamed Kudus gets to the byline and he's sitting there standing with the ball at his feet and he beats their left back, let him whip the ball in, because the most dangerous outcomes are when the fullback puts his foot out and it goes for a corner kick, because there's nobody in the box in open play. There's nobody in the box, so it's very easy for Nick Pope or whoever else just to sit there and claim it, because Matisse Tell or Richarlison or whoever it is are going to be isolated and there's going to be 3 defenders there. But it goes for a corner kick. Up come the big boys, and Tottenham have absolutely worked that trick to an absolute.
Can I say Sean's spot on with this? I remember on one of the coaching courses we did, we were asked this question, because you do a lot of scenario play, and they said to us, if you've got a player on the wing and you're up against him, do you show him inside or do you show him on the outside? So if they go on the outside, chances are they're going to cross it. Or do you show them on the inside, make them go more central? And the overall solution is, and this is just, this is something they teach. If you know the opposition haven't got an aerial threat in their attack, let him go wide and put the ball in.
Yeah.
If the other team don't have an aerial threat, then don't show him on the inside, because he might set up someone who's a bit of a technician. So a good, listen, and I'm a low-level qualified coach. Someone like Eddie Howe most probably will look at that. Whether they do it or not is a different story, but that's true. That is true. They'll look at that. Kudus, I'm sure it's by design. He stands there. He literally gets the ball. He'll take a breather. The ball will be at his feet. He will stand still. And then he'll know that I can beat the guy on the outside. And he hits the ball, goes to the outside, beats the left back, and then whips the ball in. And the left back puts his foot out and it goes for a corner kick. And then up come Van der Ven, up comes Bentancur that otherwise wouldn't cross the halfway line, up comes Palhinha. And then we've got this really well-worked routine that we're getting good yield from. A shithousery manager, a dark arts manager like Eddie Howe will 100%, especially when they have the sides of the centre backs that they have, the likes of Dan Burn. But Sean,
that regard, 100%.
If Frank, but hold on, if Frank, so there's always a counter. If Frank's smart, if that was to happen, what Frank would do is he'd tell his team, when Kudus goes wide, if we can see they're letting him go, open up the midfield, let Kudus come on the inside and drive into that space, and we attack from there. So he could counter it as well.
Yeah,
as much as that's the whole chess. That's the whole chess game that managers play.
You know what I love about that is that under Thomas Frank and with Cochrane, you see them literally. The camera pivots to them all the time, and half the time Thomas Frank isn't even watching the game. He's talking to his coaches, who's looking at the iPad and doing whatever they're doing. They're probably aware of this in game. If we were having this conversation with Ange Postecoglou, he'd be sitting there kicking the feet like he's like an 14-year-old boy who just got turned down for a date to the prom. Oh shucks, bar humbug. And not ever engaging with the team. But you can have those conversations in game, because we've got a squad, we've got a coaching staff that are on the ball. If that makes sense.
I think we need to put quite a lot of praise as well on our set piece coach as well, because he is doing one hell of a job. And also we have to praise Frank, because from what I understand, Frank specifically asked for him to come in the club because they worked together previously, from my understanding. So that's been absolute gold for us this year.
He's not bad, is he? This manager we got, he's pretty good.
I mean,
listen, we're third in the league. No one can complain. You can't.
Let me tell you. Do you know how many times I've heard people complaining? All this bollocks with the effing iPad. Put the fucking iPad down. I hear it all, mate. I hear it all. You hear them all. And these 95% of these people are at the home games. I don't hear that shit away from home. It's a different breed of fan. If you could take the away fans and put them all in the same section, the atmosphere, right, at away games, at home games would be totally different. Unfortunately, that's not the case, because Daniel fucked up when we shifted away. It was like a free-for-all. Everyone move where they want to move. So people have been together for years. Groups are singing. What they should have done was south stand right, should have been predominantly all the people, first and foremost, all the people who were previously in the Park Lane and Shelf, for example. That's where they should have all gone, all into that one section. But it didn't happen. They're all fragmented, and it's never been realigned. And so far, you know, you've got that
corporate in there.
Yeah, you got an 1882 club in there.
Corporate in the South Stand. I mean, how stupid have you got to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Seriously, he didn't have a clue, the geezer.
Wait, there's a chance for me to bash Daniel Levy. Let's go. Smoke.
But Sean, you can't argue with that. It was ridiculous.
It's madness. It's madness, right? You got prawn sandwich brigade, you know, in with the guy with the pie mash. Look, the thing is,
but Johnny, the atmosphere was great when we were in games where we were doing well. Like I remember when Arsenal came for the first Conte game, Pochettino in the Champions League run. There's games when we went 1-0 up against Chelsea, and then we scored that amazing second goal that was offside. The atmosphere was electric.
Hang on. You're having to name the game, right?
Yeah, because they're the only games we played good in.
Arsenal, where we had to win for the Champions League, I can name the game. It shouldn't be name the game. It should be come to
the Champions League quarter-final.
When you go to Roker Park, when you go to Leeds, when you go to certain clubs, the atmosphere is a given. It's not a given at Spurs.
Because they're just happy to be part of the fucking conversation, right? Whereas at Spurs, we want our team to be competing for something. And if your team's competing for something, or the football's really good against a really tough opponent, the fans do get up for it. The problem is, for many years, not just Frank, for many years, at home, it's not been that great. I've been bored for 5 years going to White Hart Lane. Honestly, there's the odd game I think, oh, that was brilliant. I'm so glad I went. But a lot of the games I went to, I thought, you know what, I should have stayed at home.
White Hart Lane.
I'll always call it the lane.
Right, okay. So I did not get bored. When teams came to the old White Hart Lane, they were in your face, right? The atmosphere on those nights under the lights were fantastic. That's not a figment of my imagination.
But we were good, Johnny. We were good.
Yeah, but even when we were shit, the atmosphere was always great. The fans were in your face.
Yeah, because the expectation wasn't high then, Johnny. We didn't expect to do anything, right? The expectation was we're not going to win the league. We're not going to get top four. The expectation now is we want top four. We want to win. The expectation at Spurs has gone up.
Still, is it fair to say?
I think it has. I think
still, is it fair to say that the grounds today with the best atmosphere are not the ones that have been built from scratch?
Yeah,
they're the old style ground. You know, Liverpool have built Anfield up bit by bit. They didn't knock it down like we did, and they didn't move like Arsenal, etc., etc. Liverpool, Forest, Leeds, Sunderland. Sunderland's new, but they're just mad up there. The North East fans, they just love it. Newcastle, you know, Rangers at Ibrox last year, an old-fashioned ground.
Johnny, do you know what? I wouldn't say it's the new grounds. I would say stadiums where the price has gone up significantly, that has perhaps forced a certain type of fan to not be able to go as often, and has allowed a more affluent type of fan to come that wants an experience. I think that's had a bigger impact than the new stadium. Price increase.
Taking a lunchbox with the kids rather than packed sandwich. Mary's packed some nice sandwiches.
Levy again, ole. Sorry guys.
I mean, how much did it cost to go and watch Leeds United? I don't know. How much did it cost there to go?
30 quid. Well, for us, it was 30 quid. But
for a home ticket?
If you got a family of four that are members that want to go and see the next two games at home against Chelsea and Man United, that is going to cost them £872 for 4 tickets for a family of four, just for those games, plus food.
So what working class family from Enfield Town is going to be able to go to that? They're not. And
not unless they sell the wife.
No,
we've basically become a stadium for all the Hadley Wood and Totteridge massive, and all the St Albans massive, and all the nice parts of the country.
Yeah, listen, look, the thing is, it's look, we know the amount of money that's in football, right? It's not about the tickets where they make the money. They can subsidise, like in Germany, where they don't only subsidise the ticket prices, they subsidise the food prices, the beer prices, right? You go to Germany,
and the train, and the train as well,
and the train subsidised if you go to the game, right? Or nothing. Often is nothing. The tickets cost bugger all, right? And the food and the beer is all cheap, right? Because they want it to be family. They want families there. They want loyalty. We don't have that. They don't care right now. You know, if there was no such thing as a fan in the old system, I'd like to think with Vinay coming in now, there's going to be a lot more fan engagement and a lot more ears to the ground to hear what the fans think. Because let's be honest, you can have this corporate structure, but in essence, the heart and soul of every club is the fan. It's the guy on the street. It's you. It's me. It's the guy who wants to go, can't afford to go. The games against Doncaster, the games against the shit games, nothing. They should have been going into the schools and handing out free tickets, right, to those goals, knowing full well there was 30,000 people that weren't going to be in that stadium. They could have been handing out tickets to the community or to people to bring the fans in, to create a sense of unity with the community, and also giving people who can't afford to take their kids to go to the game. That's how you win fans over.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, right? I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I am. On the flip side, if we want to spend 65, 60 million, 70 million, 80 million pounds on players, the money's got to come from somewhere, doesn't it?
No, but still, if you bring the families, hang on.
So there's a trade-off. You want to spend big on players, you're probably going to sacrifice some atmosphere on a match day because you're going to get a different clientele.
If you bring them in, they'll spend in the shop. You're bringing in new fans. These are the fans of the future.
John Lubo, the fans that I saw that spent the most in that club shop were the overseas fans that were on holiday. They'd go in that club shop and they'd spend bucks, and I'd see them walking in with 2 bags into the stadium. They're the ones who spend the most, and they're probably the ones that have spent the most on a ticket for the game as well.
Yeah, but what Lubo's saying, if you give a free ticket to a father and son, the local community, and he goes down there and he's getting a free ticket and going in there, he might be tempted to go into the club shop and buy I'm not saying a shirt or something, but something for his son to spend money. Look, also, what you're doing is you're buying the loyalty. They might not be big football fans. They might not have ever been to a game. But you ask most fans, when did you first support X club? My dad took me when I was X to a game. That's how I became a Spurs fan. That's how I became an Arsenal fan or a Man U fan. Someone, an uncle or whatever took them to a game of football. And, it's all part and parcel of it. All I'm saying is not for a big game where a tickets are sold out. I'm talking about for a game where you categorically know that there's 20, 30,000 empty bloody seats.
Like Doncaster. I did say £30 was mad for the game with Doncaster. Crackers. Yeah. Just crackers. Just
anyway.
There you go. We're priced out. We're priced out the working class fan, which is wrong.
I do think though, if the football
the guy on the street who loves football, works hard Monday to Friday and wants to take his kid to the game on a Saturday. And as I say, if I was a member and I had an opportunity of buying 4 tickets for Chelsea for my family and 4 tickets for Man United, that's going to cost me £872 for the next 2 Saturdays. That's absolutely mental. It's mental.
I'll tell you one thing, another thing. They spend all this money on, thinking of ways to stuff out. I was watching a video from the 1980s. When I used to go to football, I had one thing and one thing only on me, my blue and white scarf. I'd go to the game, right, even as a kid, go to the game, you get to see it, and everyone held up their scarves, right? That was it. Imagine if everyone at Spurs goes to the ground in the south stand around the stadium, just took a blue and white scarf, a blue and white scarf, took it and everyone held it up, what a sight that would look like when you're singing, right? That's how it used to be. That itself can create atmosphere. They still do it at Liverpool. It's a simple thing. It's a simple thing. Just think outside the box. Take the game back to its roots. I think we've come so far away from what the game was all about to where we are now. And
Johnny,
I think the game itself has been stifled. Should we blame Arteta?
I must tell you, Johnny, this has been going on for a long time. There was a screening for the fans for the 125th anniversary for the club in 2007 down at the O2, and they did a whole film of the history. And I walked in and I saw a steward that I knew, and I said, I presume the players are intermingled amongst all the fans, so the players can talk to the fans. No, the players were kept separately upstairs. I mean, I managed to have a chat in the break. I had a chat. I think it was with Pat Jennings and with Robbie Keane, and that was it. You didn't see any other players. Those two came down to talk to fans. I think it was just disgusting. The players are so divorced from the fans. This, and it never used to be
that whole story was just so that Lubo could name drop.
No,
that whole story.
It was 18 years ago.
I'm winding you up.
It hasn't changed still. It was 18 years ago.
We never had a first kit, let alone a replica second kit and a third kit. And the kid goes to school, he wants all three kits. You know what I mean? We didn't.
Let's get it back to football. I need to do some super chats and we'll get it back to football. Look, by the way, guys, there's just under 1,000 of you in here and 234 likes.
Bastard.
Surely we can do better than 1 in 4. Come on, people. Can we smash that like
Sava,
button?
let's stop the show for 20 seconds and tell everyone they must push the like button. No, that they must push the like button.
If you guys can smash the like button while I'm reading out the super chats, that'd be really appreciative. Super chats. First of all, big up to Gamal Smurf. Said Sava, stop taking my money. Yes, from my previous show where I was accused of taking people's money. Apparently, I forced them to send in super chats. I'm not sure how that works, but big up to you, my man. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate you. Big up to Blaine Dev. Very generous as always. Says, apparently I'm funding you lot to come up with shitty views and coercing fan opinions with this super chat. Oh, well, we know where the sun definitely doesn't shine anyway. Big up, lads. I guess this is a spillover from mine as well. Big up, Blaine. Thanks for that, mate. Really appreciate that. Big up to Blaine again, who came in and gave 5 memberships. It was over an hour ago, so I can't tell you who he gave them to. I'm sure they said thank you. So big up to you, Blaine. Very generous.
Thank
you. You really are generous. Thank you very much. Dean Law, big up to you with a super sticker. Always in it. Always giving a super sticker. We really do appreciate you, my friend. Same with Tony out there in Sweden. Big up to you, Mr. Rodriguez. Thank you very much. Appreciated. And big up to your Cape Verde team qualifying for their first ever World Cup. Big up to you. Big up to Eureka Johnson as well. Lovely picture. Thank you very much from down under with the super sticker. Really appreciate that. And Matty K as well. Big up to you, Matty K. And just
big up, Matty.
Big up, Matty. I hope you got back in quicker time than I did from the game last night.
Anyway, moving on. Guys, let's talk about Newcastle. We've got Newcastle United away. What's going to happen? I'm hearing lots of noise that there is going to be a lot of rotation and that Spurs are going to probably go a little bit weaker in this game. We've played a lot of football. We can't just keep playing everybody over and over again. What are you guys thinking about it? Anyone who wants to go?
Cool. He'll mix and match, won't he? I think he'll maybe play. He'll make 4 or 5 changes only. I can't see him going wholesale.
Only
anyway,
half the team. Only it's half the team, Lumo.
Well, listen, we've seen games.
He's only going to make 8 changes.
He's not going to make 8 or 9 changes. Maybe 3 or 4.
He can't change Mickey van der Ven, and he can't change Danso. He can't change the back at all. I don't think.
He won't change Vicario. He's on form.
So he'll probably end up bringing in Bergvall and Papassar and Archie Gray. In fact, was that not Papassar, Archie Gray and Bergvall, the three that started when we beat Burnley?
It was.
Yeah, Burnley.
Yeah, so that will be my call that he'll go for.
Newcastle, the defending.
No, I'm just
winners,
saying.
aren't they?
I'm just saying. You know, are we saying we want to play a full strength team and then go to Chelsea a bit knackered? I don't know.
What's more important to us as fans? Trying to get to the Carabao Cup final or maintaining top 4 in the league? Because that's the compromise, isn't it? Carabao Cup Wednesday, Chelsea at home, Premier League game on the weekend.
If we bring the 10 injured players back in, we wouldn't be having the conversation so much, should
no, but we have to go with the variables we've got to play with. So as a fan, what do we want? Do we want
just what I would do.
No. What I said, what would you prioritise? The Carabao Cup or the Chelsea game?
I'd want to win both somehow.
Okay, but if you're going to rotate and play a bunch of kids in midfield at St James's Park away, you're clearly prioritising the Chelsea game. That's my point. So, as a fan, what would you want? Not just you, everyone on the panel. What would you want? What's important to you as a fan?
Win one and lose the other. For me, I want to win the Carabao Cup game. I think.
Mm-hmm. Then we have to go strong. We can't be making changes. You can't drop Bentancur and Paulinho. They're that kind of 4 of Danzo, Van de Ven, Paulinho, and Bentancur is at the core of how we play. That is at the core of Tottenham Hotspur right now.
Yesterday, still, wasn't it? It was yesterday.
Mate, it's becoming like that. So
you wouldn't make any changes?
Still, you were right. And I actually said this on the show earlier, didn't I, Sean? I did actually give some credit on the show.
Yeah, but you caveated it by saying, Stell, I don't know if you're watching this, but if you are, don't get used to it because I hate giving you credit where it's due. But
what did I say that was right? Just out of curiosity, because I say a lot of things. So.
It took me about 5 years of watching footage to find something you said that was right. No, you said it. Look, this squad for me, you were right, is not capable of 4 competitions. And as much as we can sit here and go, what would you prioritise? Whatever he does, this is going to be another scenario where he's wrong. Because if he prioritises Newcastle, those fans that say they prioritise Newcastle, when we're shattered for Chelsea, because you look at Kudus, look at Paulinho, Bentancur, these boys can't just rattle off 90 minutes every 3 days. People will go, look at Spurs, there you go, at home again.
Made the wrong decision again.
Home again, he made the wrong decision. For me, I think it's going to be this, guys. I think it's going to be this. Tell me if I'm wrong. And I'm not saying this is what I would do, but with all of the injuries we've got, let me blow that up a tiny bit for you. With all of the injuries we've got, and with the fact that we're playing every 3 days and we've got Chelsea coming straight away, I think that's what we're going to see. I think you're going to see Paulinho and Bentancur get a rest. I think you're going to see Kudus get a rest. I don't know if Mwani's going to start 2 games.
That's what I chose. That's exactly the same. I thought you were against it, Sava. So that's what you think he might go for.
No, yeah. Listen. I think the difficulty is, Johnny. I said on the show earlier. The problem is this. We don't have the players to rotate in who are good, that are better than this. This isn't me going. I'd go really weak.
Oh, Freudian slip there, mate. You said we haven't got the players that are good.
Well, no, I don't think good. What I mean is, I look at that.
You know what you mean.
Let me explain. I'm saying I look at this again. Kudus compared to Johnson, Gray compared to Bentancur, Sarr compared to Paulinho, right? Bergvall, Tell compared to Mwani. I think the drop off is massive from those players, but I don't think we've got much choice. I don't think we can just keep.
Lubo's thinking, what do you mean? That's our first team squad there with Archie Gray in it. That's first choice.
Mate, that 11 away at St James's Park, I'm going to say it now. If we go through, either it's the most fucking luckiest performance in history or the gods are on our side. If Newcastle goes strong, if at their ground under the lights, we're going to get battered.
So if we do
have to play Paulinho in it. If you
So
got
hang on a
any
second. So if we do play well,
Against Tonali, Joe Linton, Guimaraes in midfield.
If he plays them,
you have to go strong.
if he plays them, you've got to remember they got a European Cup match in just over a week's time as well.
correct.
You know, he's trying to.
I think they're going to go for it though, Lubo.
Going, you know,
I think they're going to go for it, Newcastle. At home, they're going to be expected to go for it.
I just don't think we can keep saying like Paulinho. I don't think he could just keep doing a game every 3 days. Kudus starting to look tired. This is going to be the issue at some point, and this is what I was saying. What you were right about, Stel, is that you're going to have to prioritize at some stage. Now, I get it that people want to win a trophy, but if we go strong on Wednesday night, I think we're going to be absolutely shattered for the Chelsea game on Saturday. We then possibly lose another home game, and people go, our home record's shit. I think this is a real difficult scenario. I don't think we're ready for 4 competitions.
Do you remember at the start of the season, we were saying, where do we think Spurs are finished? And I put a caveat. I said, I think Spurs will finish anywhere between 6th and 10th. But if we go out of the Champions League, so we don't qualify for the group stage, the knockout stage, and we go out the Carabao Cup, I said, I think Spurs can mount a challenge for top 4. And I stick by that. I think we can get top 4, but we have to sacrifice 2 competitions.
You're the guy of all of us. You're the guy who prioritises trophies more than I would imagine. Actually, no, Luba, I think, is up there with the trophies in the trophy stake. I genuinely think that the Carabao
Sean,
Cup,
if it was up to me, I'd sacrifice the Champions League and the league and go for the FA Cup and Carabao Cup if it's up to me. But I think Frank isn't going to be allowed to do that. I don't think any Spurs manager will be allowed to do that.
And that's fine. I completely agree. And by the way, I agree with what Sava said as well about the reaction if we do go strong. If we go strong and win, then that's one thing to then have to maybe concede a little bit in the Chelsea's strength, in the Chelsea squad strength. If we go strong and we lose against Newcastle, which is an entirely likely possibility anyway, no matter what team you pick, because Newcastle are just a very good team, and at home they're a very, 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 very good team.
Yeah, hard work.
Thomas Frank would do. I'd like to know the answer to that question that you asked, guys. What's your priority? If you could have it your way, would you prioritise the Chelsea game or would you prioritise the Newcastle game?
It's hard, isn't
Chelsea.
it? It's very hard. It's very hard.
I think
you want to win
Chelsea.
a trophy, don't you? You want to get another trophy under your belt.
Can I ask a single question, right? When that draw came out, honestly, answer honestly, how many of you actually said, "Oh, we'll win that one"? How many of you turned around and said,
No one said that.
No, none of us. None of us predicted we'd win at Everton, by the way.
No, but listen, hang on. In the cup away Wednesday night, half of our fans won't be able to get there. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare scenario.
Johnny,
right?
third away game in 7 days.
Yeah, we've done Monaco away, we've done Everton away, and now you're asking for Newcastle away on a Wednesday night. I'm just saying to you, all the odds are stacked against us. I want to win every game, but for me, the Chelsea game is absolutely huge, right? For our momentum. I don't think anyone who's a true fan will berate us if we don't get through against Newcastle away. Newcastle at home, and we don't get through. I can understand some of the thing, but
I don't know. It's not necessarily about getting past it. It's about how do you approach it. Because like you might go and put a weaker team out, and then you still might win anyway. But as much as I know that Lubo loves Archie Gray, I don't think Newcastle away is the game to play Archie Gray.
Can I throw another angle here? Can I throw another angle? Why can't we go really strong against Newcastle, then really strong against Chelsea, and then the game after is Copenhagen, rotate for that one? Because that's the easiest game.
And lose.
That's the easiest game we're going to play in the next kind of 2 months.
Have you seen Copenhagen play?
Have you seen... What's harder though? Chelsea, Newcastle, or Copenhagen?
Copenhagen don't. My mate does business out. They've got a lot of nice little tidy players there. You think they're?
Who do you fear more, Johnny? Newcastle away, playing Chelsea, or Copenhagen? Who do you fear the most?
I don't want to lose any game. I don't want to lose.
Yeah,
any
so
game.
rotate in the easiest game is my thinking.
Yeah,
rotate against Copenhagen.
I actually think what the team Sava puts out there, just put up there, I think that would be the team that I would call put on with top players sat on the bench that they could maybe bring on to turn the game.
That's a surrender flag. That's like surrendering the game if we go with that. It's like,
if Archie Gray could be a fantastic player for Tottenham, but if you expose him to that midfield of Joe Linton and Tonali and Guimaraes, I think that you are.
Did you not say this is the game?
Doesn't that show then that he shouldn't be a Tottenham Hotspur footballer?
No, I'm saying that there's horses for courses, mate. Like you know, we spoke about this against the Aston Villa game, right? We spoke about this about the Everton team. Like, you know, there's midfields out there that are technical, and there's midfields out there that are monsters. Joe Linton goes around fucking smashing elbows into 18-year-olds and gets away with it week after week after week. Archie Gray is a certain horse for a certain course, and I don't think that Newcastle away is the right course for him.
Did you not say to play him though, Sean? Before, who were you saying Archie Gray should be playing? Should play. This is a game Archie Gray should play. You just said before.
No, so this is the game Archie Gray shouldn't be playing.
Oh, I thought you said should be. Sorry.
I've got. You know, I'm not on the same level of delusions with Lubo on the Archie Gray thing, but I actually think Archie Gray will be a good player, and I think he actually is a better eight.
Very good player.
In certain scenarios, I think he'll be fine. But Newcastle away, under the lights, under the rain, in a cup game against that midfield, I think you're lambs to the slaughter.
So do we go same team as that played?
I personally think that if we can get past Newcastle, we've got a really good chance of getting through, of going deep into the tournament. So I think you're in the quarterfinals after that.
Away, probably.
Yeah, maybe, but maybe not.
I wasn't saying that's the team I would pick. That wasn't what I was.
Yeah, what's the team you would pick, Saba? I'd like to know.
I would probably go half and half. I think the difficulty is, as I said, I don't think you can just keep running Kudus into the ground. At some point, the guy's got a rest. I don't think you can keep running Paulinho and Bentancur into the ground. I don't think you can, you know what I mean? Mawani, how fit is he? Is this a game for Xavi Simons? I think there's so many question marks. And again, I think it comes back down to, have we got the squad depth to say, let's go strong Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday? I know that a lot of people don't want to factor these things in, but 3 games in 7 days, when you've got this many injuries, you have at some point got to go, what are we...
Sab, can I just...
No, my point is, it's like, as I've said, I think he's in a lose-lose situation. I really do think he's in a lose-lose situation, because we've got the next 2 games are tough. Whichever way you look at it, Chelsea and Newcastle are tough opponents. 3rd away game in a row, followed by 48, probably less than 72 hours later, you're at home against them against Chelsea in the league. I also hope. I remember going to Dortmund for a UEFA Cup game with Poch, and Poch put out 5 reserves. We got smacked 3-0. It took the edge off the whole trip. And, you know, Spurs have sold out their allocation again for Newcastle on Wednesday night. So I want a decent side to go up there just for the fans. The fans, travelling nearly 300 miles on a Wednesday night.
Are you going, Lubo?
With 10 injuries, Lubo. But Lubo, with 10 injuries...
Guys, can I just quickly say...
We have to understand that you can't just put out your best team every 3 days.
No, but Lubo, I just want to make a quick announcement for the channel. I've just put a poll up. Guys, what game do you prioritise? Newcastle in the Cup, Chelsea in the league?
Poll up. Is there a flag on the end of it?
Johnny actually made a funny joke. Well done, Johnny. As it stands, we've almost had 100 votes in 2 minutes, and overwhelmingly, over 60% have said the Chelsea match is the priority. 35% are saying Newcastle. Hardly anyone's voted for the Copenhagen game.
I just think we've got to take the injuries into account as well. I think that, to be fair, Frank has not used it as an excuse once. We're getting away with what we're getting away with, but at some point, something's got to give. Something has to give. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he goes full strength in both games and we win both games. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, I don't think we can be too critical, because everyone looks at that 11. This is the squad. These are the players individually.
Are we agreed on that?
Huh?
We can't change the defence. We're agreed on that, right?
Well, we're saying we've got no defence to change.
Exactly.
Right? And then we're saying, right, I'd keep the best players in. So Okay,
I'm okay with us sort of like giving Kudus a night off or putting him on the bench. I'm okay with us resting one of Bentancur and Polinia, but I think you have to still treat the game with some level of credit, some level of respect, and I think that one of those two, and ideally for me, Polinia, should be sitting there and marshalling in front of the back four, because otherwise it's just going to be a train wreck.
Sure.
Like we are going to get run through like Bonnie Blue in that midfield. It's going to be horrendous if we go in there with a midfield three, the same that we went with the Burnley game, which was Gray, Sarr, and Bergvall, for example. You know,
guys, do we all agree we're not going to win the Champions League, and we probably won't even get to the quarterfinals? Do we all agree it'd be a miracle?
Yeah, but there's
if
a
we
lot
get
of revenue to be generated in the meantime, though.
Yeah,
Still,
lots.
Yeah, all right, but I don't support Spurs for income generation. I support Spurs for us to do.
You will when it's
16 or something.
players.
you do want us to go and buy some good players in January, and that starts with revenue generation, doesn't it? So
If we finish top four, we get Champions League money again, though.
yeah, but we need money we need to be able to buy a couple of players in January.
I
don't think we're going to.
If you're saying that, right? If you're saying that, and again, it's just a discussion point.
Yeah.
For all the people, there's loads of people in the chat right now going, "Cool, people picking top four over a trophy are mad." Now it's the age-old argument, isn't it, guys? For the last 20 years in football, is top four versus or top five probably this year versus winning a cup. First and foremost, I don't think it should ever be an either or. I think you try for both. But I just want to say the people that are all saying definitely have to go strong against Newcastle. I don't mind losing against Chelsea. Just remember that when we're saying don't worry about losing that, when you want the revenue in the summer, if we don't make the Champions League, when you want the revenue, just remember this is where revenue comes from.
Mate, Sava, this is wild, because I feel like this is a role reversal. 2-3 years ago, when I first came into the community, like the YouTube space, I feel like I was one of the people that were getting absolutely pelters for saying I've
evolved over time, Sean, with this. Yeah, I've evolved. My appreciation for it has changed, because as much as look, Sean, where I'm different to some others, I don't like the old argument of it has to be either or. I don't like that. I don't like
the importance of the top four battle.
Yeah,
right?
For my team to be able to win a cup means they definitely can't finish fourth. I don't like that. But we do have to, as grown adults that understand how finances work, we do have to take into account that when people are saying things like, I don't mind finishing 17th if we win a trophy, that's brilliant. But you know who does mind that? The transfers, right? The money you're paying to agents, the transfer fees. This is where that money comes from being in Europe's elite competitions. And if you look at the biggest clubs, they qualify for the Champions League.
But that was different, Sava. Last year was different because those that said I don't mind finishing 17th is because we won a Europa Cup that qualifies for Champions League.
3 years
we
ago.
did finish 17th.
Yeah, we did, but we qualified for Champions League, so that was an anomaly.
Yeah, but your stance on that has always been give me a Carabao Cup over top four all day, every day. That's always been the case.
I'm a trophy. I think. Look, for me, regarding this run of games, I would personally go strong against Newcastle, strong against Chelsea, but rotate against Copenhagen. That's what I would do. I don't think he'll do that, but I think that's what we should do.
Still, the other,
because I don't listen. I don't want to lose momentum. I don't want to lose momentum in the league because we're in a really good space. And just imagine we did Chelsea. That would be phenomenal for us as a fan base as well as our league momentum. But at the same time, the Carabao Cup is probably the most realistic trophy we could win this year. So I don't want to just mug it off and go up there with a bunch of kids in midfield and get slaughtered. So I think Copenhagen's. As much as we should respect them, and Johnny is right, let's not mug off Copenhagen, but I think that's a game where the likes of Graham Bergvall can do well for us. I don't think they'll do well against Newcastle away, though.
Maybe not. Can I just say a couple of things? Firstly, to JB, we're worth 4 billion Champions League money is inconsequential. Let me just say to you that Spurs so far up to now, we've only played 3 games. The club have just over 46 million from the Champions League. So believe me, money like that is not inconsequential. And secondly, the other imponderable that we don't know about is will Udogie, Romero, Solanke be fit for any of these games coming up in the next 10, 12 days? That's the question.
They're definitely not fit for Wednesday. And I've got to be honest, there's one little bit about Thomas Frank that irks me a little bit. Nothing about his tactics, not about his personal.
Is it his hair?
Yeah, he's got a wonderful head of hair for a man of his age. He drives me up the wall. I'm gonna get myself out to Turkey soon. No, but it's the narrative around the injuries.
I've got a contact for you, Sean. I've got a contact.
I'll be taking it very soon. The injury narrative is a little bit frustrating. Like he says that Romero's back. He was only supposed to miss a game, right? It was nothing serious. He's missed 3. He's apparently back on the training ground, but there's no timeline. Not putting a timeline out, but he's back on the training pitch. Same with Solanke. Kota Sakai was supposed to come back 4 weeks ago. Radu Dragusin was supposed to come back 4 weeks ago. What the hell is going on with the clarification on the timelines? Because we're led to believe every injury is a nothing burger, yet they all end up being massive problems. Like it doesn't give us a good. Not that I suppose it matters.
Hamstrings though, it's a plus.
Yeah, but the injuries we're getting instead seem to be just as long. It's October. It's nearly November, and Kota Sakai hasn't played a bean yet.
Can I ask you, Sean, question? If Cuti Romero is back for Chelsea, ask all of you, would you? I would, but would you play a back 3 of Danso, Cuti Romero, and Mickey van der Ven?
I'd like to see a back 3 being used, but we obviously need more than just Cuti back. We need to have one of Dragusin or Kota Sakai on the bench as well. You need
a doggy back as well, because you've got to wing backs.
I would play whatever system best sets us up for counter-attacking football, because that's Chelsea's Achilles heel.
Yeah.
If we can, whatever formation, whatever players Frank wants to go with, whatever best suits a counter-attacking game, I would do that against Chelsea.
Still, it worked for PSG. And listen, I actually think that 3. I hear what you're saying, Sean, but you need one of them back. But I don't think you can, because if you've got an injury, you just revert back to your 4 if necessary.
But then you're into a forced tactical pivot. It would be nice to be able to go into a game like the PSG game. I thought was one of our best performances that I've seen on the top.
You played 3 at the back.
We played 3 at the back in that game.
Yeah,
but I'd like us to have that option. But in order to have that option, I think you also need to have the option that if there is an injury or if there is a rotation or something that needs to change or happen, that you don't.
Ben Davies though.
Huh?
That was our only other defender on the bench for that game was Ben Davies. So
right now, who do we have? We haven't got a single.
Spence. Didn't Spence come on? I'm sure we had Spence too.
We've got Juna Byfield, right? We haven't got any. We've got no defenders right now.
Listen, personally, that's what I would do, because I'm in agreement with Stel that if we have that solid thing as a counter attack with Muani and Kudos, I think we would offer a lot more, being solid in that respect with Paulinia and Bentancur. I think they would struggle to break us down, and we would be much stronger on the counter with that team. But we shall see. We shall see. Time will tell.
Is there any one of you here that would go strong in the next 2 games and rotate against Copenhagen, or am I the only one that would do that?
No, I don't mind the idea of playing. I think Lucas Bergvall probably be quite tidy in that sort of game. I'm sure he'd love to play against his Scandinavian brethren type thing. And I think maybe Archie Gray would be good in that game as well. I think that there's an argument for it. But where I would sort of share the concern, I think that Sava and Johnny have gone with, is that can you really afford to get another 90 minutes out of all of the players that have already played 3 lots of 90 minutes in the last week? Can you get another 2 lots of 90 minutes in the next week out of them before you then rest? I think that's the problem, right? I think you probably need to give Kudus and a couple other players a breather in one of those 2 games in Chelsea or Newcastle. But I don't mind going a little bit weaker for the Copenhagen game if needs must. Who have we got after Copenhagen? Is it United?
United,
isn't it?
Yeah. Then PSG.
And Man United are out they don't have a Carabao Cup game all Europe.
Then Arsenal, then PSG, but 2 weeks later.
Oh, what? So Man United's before the international break, yeah, Lubo?
Yeah.
Mate, if we rotate in any of these games bar Copenhagen, I fear it. I fear we cannot. If we rotate, I don't see us getting results. But then you risk injury, and I get that point Saba's making. We're now risking more injuries. But
Can I just quickly announce that breaking news on Sky Sports is that Brendan Rodgers has resigned from Celtic. I'm sure you can say why I've said this. Surely, I think we all know what that means, right?
Who's Shirley?
Oh, so are we saying that some Celtic fan channel somewhere?
Such a bad joke, Johnny. That's such a terrible.
We know who's coming back. I was joking at the pub. They were saying to me, "Shut the fuck up," because I was going, "Guess who's coming back? Guess who's coming back?" They're going, "Is it ever going to happen?" I
just thought it was interesting. It's breaking right now. Yeah, Stel, I share your sentiment. I do. This is what I've worried about all season. I get it. None of us want to go weak against anyone. We want to win every game. I think everybody's not listened to the question right in the chat. I'm not saying I want to lose at Newcastle. I'm just saying if you said to me right now which one is more important to win, I do think that the Chelsea game is more important. Get more points on the board for the Premier League. And if we want to buy top players, you're going to need revenue. Listen, I want to win a cup. Of course, we all want to win cups. But let's be fair, we did scratch that itch a few months ago. It's not like we are 17 years now without a trophy. We have scratched that itch. So for me, I share your concern still. I genuinely worry that as soon as 2 or 3 of these come out the first 11, I think it's weak. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see Archie Gray playing against Joe Linton and Gomares and tonight. I don't want to see. Then again, I don't want to see him playing against Caicedo or Enzo Fernandez. Do you know what I mean? So, but this is the squad we built though. This is the squad that people rave about. So when they do play games, just remember everyone waxes lyrical about them. So let's see what they're made of. Because they're going to have to play. They're going to have to play. In one of the games, they're going to have to. It can't just be, if you play five games in 15 days, which I think we're doing, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
If we play 5 games in 15 days, we can't just go, right, but Paulinho and Bentancur play every single 3 days. It's just not going to happen. No. Do you know what I mean? It's just
then
not.
He could be out for weeks, couldn't he, Sava?
Right.
Yeah, then what? He overplayed them. That you'll hear the noise. What's wrong with Frank? He never rotated. It's his fault they're injured. Yeah, the narrative is just, you can write it yourself.
I think
just for the record, overwhelming majority of fans have said the Chelsea game is the priority.
I agree.
And nobody gives a shit about Copenhagen when you put Newcastle, Chelsea, Copenhagen.
Until you lose.
Yeah, until you lose.
Something about if we can get past Newcastle, the away form undefeated record will continue. You would hope then you're into the quarterfinals. You would hope then you would get a slightly easier draw, not necessarily guaranteed.
Away from home.
Well, there's an argument though. If you beat Newcastle away from home, right, and then you come back in a few days later and you lose to Chelsea, there's maybe an argument that you're rooting for an away draw in the last eight, isn't there? Yeah. People go, please not at home. Please not at home. I'll take Arsenal away, just nobody at home. But listen, I think that, I don't know, for me, we're not going to win the Premier League. And I think even if you were to lose to Chelsea, I don't think it necessitates that suddenly the top 5 or top 6 race is in jeopardy. If you look at the league table right now, there's not a lot of points that separate anybody, but there's a long season ahead. We're not going to win the Champions League. It would be awesome for Tottenham Hotspur to be able to go and win the Europa League last summer and back it up with another chance. And if you were to get Liverpool, for example, I think Liverpool are there for the taking like never before. I think that there's a lot of teams in the Premier League right now that are struggling with their form. So even if you were to get a bigger team in the quarterfinals, I think you still have a decent chance, home or away.
Sean,
I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks, I don't want to sacrifice. I agree with all of you. Like, no one wants to sacrifice any game. But like, if you were to lose against Chelsea, it's not the end of the world. But if you lose against Newcastle, that's one of the 2 realistic chances for a trophy gone this season.
Sean, just had a text through from a pal Gary. He said Newcastle's a one. If we lose to Chelsea, If we lose to Chelsea, still got
Gary
more league
Winter,
games.
Jeff, or
Hang on. If we lose to Chelsea, you've still got more league games. Only Fran Pride when lose to Chelsea.
Yeah, listen, I genuinely think that maybe for me, Newcastle United is a more important game.
Do you know what it is, guys? Do you know what it is? It's not because it's Chelsea scum and we hate them and just enough's enough with that lot. They're there for the taking. That's the thing with Chelsea. They're actually there for the taking.
we say that
That's
every
the
year.
frustrating bit.
We say
We
it.
could actually. Do you know what? Let me not do this.
What happens if we go weak? If we go weak against Newcastle and lose 2-0, and then we go super strong against Chelsea and still lose 3-0?
Yeah, Frank out. Frank out.
We did that against
We look at the flip side.
last year.
Frank out.
Let's be fair. This is a very good Newcastle team at home. We could go strong against them and lose anyway.
Of course.
I don't think this is about prioritizing. I think this is about this is the squad we've got. I think this is almost nuts as a conversation that this is the squad we've got, but everyone just wants to go for every game with the best 11. Ain't going to happen.
No, but
I hate losing to Chelsea, man. I hate losing to them more than anything.
I agree, but the point is, as I keep saying, something's got to give. These are the squad players you've got. You can't run every player into the ground. Whatever he does, if he rotates against Newcastle, people will go mad. If he rotates against Chelsea, people will go mad. If he rotates in the Champions League game, people are going to go mad. This is the squad you've got. You've got to use your squad players at some point. I'm not saying all of them at once, but this is still a very strong Newcastle United at home.
What would you accept from the next 3 games in terms of results? So for me, I would accept 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. I'm not sure who to. I would accept that. I wouldn't accept draw, or loss, draw. I wouldn't accept that.
I hate draws.
I'd like to win all 3. I'm just absolutely...
Johnny, obviously, I want to win all 3, but what would you accept as like a...
shocked. Savra, I'm sure you're as shocked as I am that Sean Butler is so negative. He's told me that we're not going to win the Premier League and we're not going to win the Champions League. I'm having to take all this in at the moment.
This is what happens when I've joined the Change for Tottenham movement as co-captain alongside Billy T. You suddenly get a little bit more pessimistic in your outlook.
Co-captain? Since when are you the co-captain? What's going on?
Sean's Enoch out now still. He'll be
and you're Enoch in. I'm Enoch in.
I'm Enoch in. Not reversal here.
The reaction. What are you doing, co-captain? What are you doing? You've been around the block for 5 minutes, you're now captain?
Co-captain. Predictions gone. We've got 2 minutes. Predictions for the match on Wednesday. Sav?
How can you predict without knowing the starting lineup?
Yeah, this is the problem. It's difficult. I think we will lose there. If people call me negative, I think if we go there and win, hats off to the lads. I think this is maybe 1 step too far on the away journey. At some stage, you're going to lose a game away from home. And Newcastle United, under the lights, they're strong, they're physical. They've got quick wingers that get in. They've got a really good forward that holds the ball up. I think this might be 1 step too far after 2 very difficult away games for us. I think Newcastle are the favourites for this. Doesn't mean I don't want to win. Doesn't mean I'm being negative. I just think even with our best 11, their best 11 is better. So
I think if we go strong, it goes to penalties, and it's anyone's. They probably edge us because we don't have good forwards.
I mean, do you know what their bench was? Their bench was Alanga, Barnes, Willock, Tonali, Ramsey, Fabian Schär, and Osula. That was their bench on Saturday.
They've got more depth than we have at the moment with the injuries. They've got more depth. Yeah.
Just super quick, Stel, just super quick. After last week's predictions, am I still top of the pops?
Nothing's changed in the table because everyone got it wrong.
Say it out loud just so I know who's currently winning.
You are.
Thank you very much.
Early doors. We've still got a long way to go.
That's all I hear on Football League.
Have they got any injuries? Don't worry about the 2 minutes tonight. Don't worry about the 2 minutes. Have they got any injuries, Newcastle?
No.
But by the way, if
And they
we
got
do
West
that,
Ham after.
if which is a walk in the park. If we go with the team that Saba said we might go with, I think we get battered. 3-4-1, 3-4-0. I just don't see any good outcomes with that team at St James's Park.
No, they have got injuries. Sven Botman's I think he might be out.
He's always out, that guy. He's always
Sven Botman's been out for
Lewis
ages.
Hall's
Never played for them. Yeah.
Livermento as well is not there, is he? They've got a few injuries at the back.
All's out as well.
Who?
Both
Lewis.
fullbacks.
Yeah, mate, look at the team they put out on Saturday. Look at their bench, and then tell me they've got problems.
Great. So their fullbacks are out, and we put on Odebert and Johnson. Bring it on.
No, don't worry about them. Don't worry about their team, mate. They're strong enough. So, what's your prediction? I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle.
I want to see. It's so difficult
Newcastle.
without seeing the lineups, right? I genuinely don't know if both managers go strong or not. I think this will be 3-1 Newcastle, depending on the 11. I don't know.
Didn't spend
the prediction points, or is it just Premier League games?
No, this has got nothing to do for the league table. Yeah,
Sean, you
I
said
think if Burnwell, Sarr, Gray, I think if these boys play, I think we're going to get absolutely bullied.
Oh, mate, it's going to be a horrible watch.
I'm worried about
as well.
I'm worried about Paulinho and Bentancur playing another game and then playing another game against Chelsea.
I'm going 2-1.
Listen, Saba, Chelsea have got quite a few injuries as well, you know.
No, I'm not doubting that. I'm just looking still. What I'm looking at with Chelsea is I think this is a good time to play them, by the way. I do think it's a good time to play them. But they always play well at our ground for some reason. They always do. And again, what I wouldn't want to do is have a weaker midfield against Chelsea than Newcastle, because Chelsea have got probably one of the most informed players in the country in Moises Caicedo. Enzo Fernandez is playing well as well. You then got people in there as well like Romeo Lavia.
Yeah, but we've got Paulinho, Van de Ven, Kudus all playing exceptionally well. Vicario is bang on form, so we've got players in form as well. We can counter it.
We didn't talk about Vicario today, did we? What a keeper!
That was
but you know what worries me, mate, is Vicario in the penalty shootout, because he's got time to think.
Mate,
I think we've all figured out that when Vicario doesn't have any time to think, he's brilliant. Maybe what we could do is have it like flip of a coin, and rather than the penalty spot being where it normally is, we move it like 6 yards forward and then ask them to play the penalties from there. And I reckon Vicario will keep all 5 of them out and we'll go through.
Forget the save, Sean. Do you really think you can see Mattis tell Odebert, our strike force, right, scoring in a penalty shootout against them? I don't think so.
If we get to a penalty shootout and Matisse Tell has to face another one, and I hope he does, I hope he puts his hand up and wants to take it, and I really then hope he scores. But if he was to put his hand up and miss it, that man's confidence would never recover in a Tottenham shirt, I don't think.
What about the others? The others would score.
Like Stuart Pearce moment, wouldn't it, Sean? Don't you think? In 96,
100%. Yeah, that, and he'd like if he scored it, the passion,
More like mate, more like Mickey Pearce. I think we don't have the goal scorers.
Mickey Pearce.
Nice. Mickey Pearce.
I'm going for 2-2 penalties.
And what, winning on penalties?
I don't know, whatever. I don't care about that bit. I care about the
I think whatever we do, we're out. We either go out gracefully or we go out getting battered.
Gracefully.
You know what? We keep surprising people away from home. It might carry on.
Could you imagine we steal a 1-0 from a corner, a header, 1-0, and we sit back and just
Tottenham go away from home and get through this game. Our away form, undefeated in the Champions League, undefeated in the Premier League, undefeated in the Carabao Cup, the best in the country, probably at that stage the best in Europe. Then all of a sudden you've got a real moniker. You've got an absolute, like, you don't want to play Tottenham.
Will they bow to the feet of Thomas Frank? Will they bow to the feet of Thomas Frank, or will they say the fucking football's boring?
Do you know what we should do? If we beat Newcastle away, every home game we should only allow 4,000 fans into the stadium who support Spurs Put them in the corner and try and replicate an away game.
Only the
Just
away
make
fans.
it feel like we're playing away.
Only the away fans should be allowed at the home stadium.
Only away fans allowed at the home. Exactly. We do that. See what happens.
That'd be insane. Such not a bad idea.
Right, I'm cooked.
So what I'm saying 2-2 penalties. Don't know which way it's going to go. Saba, you're saying 2-2. Did you say?
No,
Saba said 3-1.
I think Newcastle will win this 3-1. I don't. Yeah.
I've gone 2-1.
I think they've got too much for us.
3-1 Newcastle.
Okay.
This feels eerily reminiscent of the Everton thing, where everyone predicted a draw or a loss. Still,
Yeah, but Newcastle have got goal scorers.
True.
If we go strong, I think we take it to penalties, and then it's anyone's. God knows. Probably Newcastle the favourites, but you never know. If we don't go strong, we're out. I just don't see it. I'll go with Sab like 3-1.
I hope he puts out a decent team, and I hope they give a good performance for the fans. Because
but your idea of decent is Archie Gray in the 8.
Well, I think I rate it.
Would you play him against Newcastle?
I might play him. Can well play him at fullback against Newcastle.
I think Archie Gray will play against Newcastle.
Against which winger? Barnes, Alanga, Gordon, Murphy?
I'd probably play him left back. I think he played well against Monaco. I'd play him there as well. I'd play Spence up against
Alanga or Josh Murphy. No, not for me.
Well, I think the kid's underrated by most people. I think he'll have a great career at Spurs. And these are the games like Monaco. He came out. He played well at Monaco.
Okay, so that's the case.
And you see a progression.
Why did you caveat with you'd start him but a left back? If you truly believe he's that good, why are you not putting him in centre mid?
Why? Because their midfield was about the best in the country.
That's the answer I wanted. That's the answer I wanted. So, have you noticed every time Archie Gray starts in midfield or we go up against a good team, the answer is always he's not ready to play against Liverpool. He's not ready to play against
Copenhagen. Sav, I play him against.
Yeah, Copenhagen. I agree.
I don't want him playing against Copenhagen in centre mid in a must-win Champions League game. No, I don't. That's just me. I don't. I've seen nothing of him in centre mid that makes me go, yeah, you should start for Tottenham Hotspur. That's just me. Sorry. Left back, right back, filling in, comfortable with it. Phil Neville, comfortable with it.
Lubo, would you really go Gray at left back and then Odebert on the left forward? Because then you've got a left side of Gray and Odebert, and against Monaco, it didn't work. Them two both on the left, just it's almost.
Why would you put Gray there when Jed Spencer's fucking jailed most of the top wingers in the last 10 months?
Ask Lubo. Ask Lubo.
Johnny, I'll play Spence against Anthony Gordon at right back. I'd play him there.
Okay. Yeah,
because for me, Gordon's better than Alanga and Barnes.
Gordon Bennett.
No, so we're putting Gray. You'd put Gray at left back. Is that what you're saying?
If you're going to play Gray on Wednesday, I'll play him at left back.
Second fastest player in the Premier League, Anthony Alanga.
Okay. Well, Spence hasn't got tremendous pace.
This goes down to this need for Gray rather than what's best for the team.
And nor has Porro. Porro's have got amazing space.
Can I just tell you, Lubo, just to correct you, in training, right, Jed Spencer's been speeding past. He's actually faster than Mickey.
Wow.
He's actually very quick.
Well,
can I say one thing, because we haven't covered it tonight? I honestly think that Xavi Simons just needs to be taken out of starting a couple of games. Just for a couple of games, just not
help
start.
his confidence, you mean?
Do you know what, Johnny? I was watching that game.
Doesn't that kill his confidence if we just...
it depends, right? I'll tell you why. Against Villa, I saw him do something I've never seen him do as a player, where we had that attack and then he stopped and passed it backwards when we had a 4-on-2. And I thought, why on earth would a player of your intelligence, why would you do that? And okay, it happens. Sometimes players just do things you don't get. Mate, against Everton, he was in the left back position. He's looked across. He can see the danger and he still passes it across. and they intercepted it, and luckily they fluffed it. And I looked at it and I thought, what were you looking at to do that? And then there was an attack where he's travelling with the ball. He's got a runner to the left, one to the middle, two to the right. I'm thinking, right, go on, release them, Xavi. And he puts a really poor pass forward. Do you know what? I honestly think, just looking at him now, I think up here, psychologically, something's on his mind. I don't know what. I'm not saying he's a troubled player, or there's something with him right now for me where he's not playing with a clear head. He's not playing.
Tell you what it is.
And Johnny, I don't just think it's about bedding in or not having runners, because there's moments where he's had the runners and he's just fucked it, and it's basic things. And I know he's much better than that.
But you know, I just think I'll tell you. So Eze, right? Eze, for example, right? When you talk about other things on their mind, Eze's still not in his house. He's staying at the Grove Hotel. He's staying at a hotel. You know, when you're coming across from another, I'm just saying to you, when you're coming across from another country with your family, you've got all this shit going on, right? You're trying to learn the system. You're playing in a strange place. You're not bedded in your house. These are things that you and I, we're not interested in, because
I'm talking about basic passes, Johnny.
No, I'm just saying these are things that also, you know, do play on players. They're not the only thing.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it is that. I think something else is at play, because the camera zoomed in on him and he looked at the ground. He was shaking his head and he looked lost. He almost like he was about to cry. And I thought, what's wrong with you, lad? Someone needs to put their arm around him and have a chat, because I get the feeling something's up with him. I hope not, but it just feels that way, you know.
Yeah, he hasn't activated. He hasn't hit the ground running, has he? I think that's what I don't think he enjoys getting hooked as well, because I think that he thinks he's stinker and hooked against Everton. Yeah. He was really getting into the game in the second half, and then he got hooked after 65 minutes. He should have been. I think he should have been left on the pitch, because I think he was getting into the game, and then he got taken off. You know,
I just think he needs time, and I think the problem is if you take somebody out for 2-3 games that you just bought for that money, I don't think it does them good. I just think sometimes players take time to adjust. I think we're reading too much into it. Me personally.
But when you're on the ball and you're not under pressure, no one shut you down.
Well, no, he's not playing well, Kel. He's not playing well. He's not playing well. He's doing silly mistakes. But does taking him out for 3 games, does that help him?
I'm not saying 3 games. I just think for the next couple of games, maybe just don't start him. Let the game build. And as the game's building, say, do you know what? Go on. There's your 30 minutes. Just let him come on and just see if we can almost.
I think as fans, we look way too much into certain players. Some players come over, they hit the ground running. Other players come over, they need.
Savage's body language. I sense something's not right.
Sure, you might sense it, but maybe that's just the way he is. Maybe that's just the way he is. I think we've all seen what a good footballer he is, right? This isn't like when we're judging players who we've not rated. We've seen what a good footballer he is. I just think some players, they come in, they hit the ground running. From game 1, they're amazing. Some need 10, 15 games. Some, their first season, they don't even get going properly. And then in year 2, boom.
Did he start against Leeds? Against Leeds, did he start, or did he come on as a sub?
He started against Leeds.
He started, okay.
He started against Leeds. I just think he needs some time. And that's not excusing poor performances. I just think some players need time. And he looks to me like he is that type of character. I think we'll look back on this in a year's time, 2 years' time, whatever it is. And I think we'll just say we all overreacted maybe a bit at the beginning. I just think give him a bit of time.
Same about Batista and Odeberg.
Just for the record,
Batista and Odeberg, because I've seen Xavi Simons be very good at top teams. I've not. That's.
It's a wind up, mate.
No. But
listen, I rate him. I like him. When we signed him, I did a 10-minute conversation explaining every brilliant reason that this is a very good signing. But just watching him the last couple of games, I sense in his body language something's up. And I'm not. I know some people say, "Oh, you're trying to create narratives still in the chat, and you're looking too deep into it." Look, maybe I am. Maybe I just get the feeling there's something on his mind. It could be what Johnny said. I just feel there's something. Do you know what it might be? I think maybe he's putting too much pressure on himself. He's trying too hard, perhaps. And he just
you
doesn't
moved, didn't you just move just recently? You were moving and you were saying it's a fucking nightmare. And I've got all this and I've got to do that.
I'd just be happy with the paycheck, but that's me.
No, but you were moaning about all the shit that you had to do and you had.
I hear you.
And you only moved and that's what I'm saying. This guy's moved country, family, girlfriend, all the rest of it, club, everything new. Got to perform, right?
It's basic passes he's misplacing when he's not under pressure. I just think how, I don't know.
Yeah, anyway. I just think we just give him a bit of time. I think if you look at the history of, I would say the Premier League, this isn't a Premier League thing. This is look at the history of any league. Players go into a new club, some hit the ground running, some don't. And there's just not you. I know you haven't said this still, but there's way too many comments going, he won't ever hack it in the Premier League. He's not a Premier League player. I just think if these people were around for Modric, these people were around when Son first came.
He played Champions League. He can play.
We're all way too. Modric was voted the worst ever signing in Real Madrid's history.
Let's wrap up. Guys, let me do some super chats. Big up to Jamal. Said, can be done with the Spurs way to play for at least this season and just enjoy getting results until we get more quality. This fandom is tiring. Jamal, listen, everyone's got their own opinion. I get that. For me, I find it funny. It's only my opinion, not the Spurs 5 opinion. I find it very funny that everyone sits and watches us lose 26 games in a year, and then the year after we're not losing games, and everyone just worries about how entertained they are. I find it a bit funny, but hey, I agree with you, Jamal. Big up to you, my man. Big up to Andy Lester for the super sticker. Really appreciate you. Thanks, Andy, and congratulations again for getting married on Saturday. Big up to you and your wife. Big up to Phil Coys. Thank you, Phil. Hope you are well. Thank you very much, buddy. Big up to Foggy Martin. Said, from Oz, I gave up getting up all hours to watch us lose last season. If my alarm is going off at 2 a.m., give me 3 points any day. Big up. The football club, Vinay, Charrington, they'll all be absolutely delighted with the 3 points that he's getting when he gets them rather than the performance. But big up to you, Foggy. Appreciate you, my man. And big up to Luke. So beating Chelsea at home on Saturday could do wonders for the atmosphere. And Frank, given how we've rolled over for the past couple of years, great show.
Spot on.
Agree with you, Luke. It's a big game. It's a big game against Chelsea, and a good time to play them. I think they're playing this midweek as well, right? I think they're playing as well. They've got some
Chelsea at Wolves.
Chelsea at Wolves. They've got some injuries as well at the back, haven't they, Chelsea? So, but listen, thanks, Luke. Really appreciate you for that, my man. Anyone got any last things they'd like to say before we wrap up?
No. Just looking forward to when. That's it.
Sorry?
Looking forward to Wednesday night.
No.
There is one thing. I just want to give a special mention to a YouTube channel called Football Inc. because no one mentioned them tonight. So check out Football Inc.
You just forgot. And so on tomorrow's show, we'll be talking about Turkish football and how many betting accounts each of the owners has.
Wrap it up, Sava. Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Just quickly, before you do, I'm just looking at the 4th round fixtures for the EFL. Tomorrow night, right, there's some cracking games, but they're all on Wednesday. On Wednesday, you've got Liverpool Palace, Arsenal Brighton, Wolves Chelsea, Newcastle Tottenham, and Swansea City. Tomorrow night, Wrexham Cardiff, that'd be a good one, but Grimsby Town, Brentford, and Wycombe Fulham. You'd think that they would put a couple of those other games on tomorrow night so that you could at least have like a better distribution of good football games.
Are we on TV?
Fucking better be.
Well, there's a lot of big games. It'd probably be Arsenal Brighton, won't it?
No, we are on TV. We're on TV. We're on TV. I think the next 4 games we're definitely on TV.
What channel are we on, Lubo?
ITV, according to Ship It 9937.
Oh, nice.
Right, guys, thank you very much.
Last thing, Gary says 2-2, we win on pens. He's Spurs.
Cheers, Gary. Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Cheers, mate.
Yeah. Appreciate Gary, it's all very well, but we're only interested in Jeff. So
Where's Jeff? Come on, Jeff. Where's your prediction?
On
Trying to muscle in, mate. Gary's.
Poor Sava, man. Poor Sava.
don't ever try and host this show. It is pointless. It is pointless. Big up, Ellie. Really appreciate you, Ellie. Thank you very much. The Queen, Ellie. Thank you. Guys, on that note, take care. We'll see you on Thursday night when we will know the score of Tottenham versus Newcastle. And we'll look forward to the Chelsea game. And I'm sure by then something else would have happened at Tottenham Hotspur. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Couple of Spurs.
Bye.